Hey, Carl.
Hey, Todd.
Deborah says you're working on a fancy app or something?
You know, hold on. Not really working on it yet. I just don't know which cloud service to go with.
Well, I've got a cousin on my Queens side that swears by DigitalOcean. Says they're easy to use, have straightforward pricing, and really focus on making developers happy.
DigitalOcean, huh? I'm gonna check them out.
What the hell?
Dude, how are you doing that?
I'm not. This is actually expert bullet. Oh! The ropes! The ropes! Oh, and he had the match? Oh! Wait! He resigned when he could have won the piece! Now he can take the pawn G4. Oh, he got the queen! He should take the
whole queen!
Oh, the D6 pawn is hanging. And now rook H7. Wow, that was brilliant!
You glance over at your opponent's clock and wait a minute, I just need to make moves that don't hang pieces.
Oh, he hung a piece? You are the ultimate jinx. Oh no! This goal! Oh my gosh! Oh, how is he doing this? Welcome back to the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. I'm Grandmaster Robert Hess. Alongside me today is my good buddy, Grandmaster Aman Hamilton. Aman, you and Hikaru both had a busy weekend as he was winning the Rapid Chess Championship knockout. How you doing today? And you think Hikaru is ready for more?
Hey, what's up, Robert? What's up, everyone in chat? Excited to be back doing the Bullet Chess Championship commentary. Took a few weeks off, but yeah, I wore myself up with some Rapid Chess. I said, you know what? Throw me back in the bullet commentary because I want to see more flagging. There was increment in Rapid, Robert. I've had enough of that.
Well, there certainly is no increment today, as you said. And let's remind everybody the bracket of what we're going to see today, where we came from, because I think all eyes are on the matchup between Daniel Naroditsky and Hikaru Nakamura, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, how could they not be? This is definitely Daniel's one of the highest rated players in the event to give a good fight against Hikaru. We all know how Hikaru is the clear favorite in these kind of events, especially with no increment. As we said, it's 1+0. So, is Daniel going to be the one to take him down? Remember, Robert, in this format, every player has 2 lives. It's double elimination.
That's right. To this point, Naroditsky's been unstoppable. Look at those scores. He beat Arjun Erigaisi 13.5, 2.5. Then he beats Ray Robson, who was 3,200 at the start of that match, 15-3. So if Daniel can keep up that form, yes, he has a chance against Hikaru Nakamura, but look at that score Hikaru just laid against Brendan Jacobson.
Yeah, I mean, the scores from the top players, like, you get these imbalanced matches and you kind of forget, like, they're actually beating absolute legends in bullet chess, and the score looks so lopsided.
That's
you also
right.
have the losers bracket, right, where players who have actually lost, they have a chance to make that resurgence. These players can still win the whole event, Robert.
That's correct. And look how strong the players are here. We have Jacobson, Jose Martinez taking on Arjun Erigaisi, who we just mentioned lost that matchup against Daniel Naroditsky. We have Alexander Bortnick taking on Brendan Jacobson. And Brendan, he had a rough go of it against Hikaru Nakamura, but he did just take down Fabiano Caruana.
Right. I mean, it's not a bad bounce back. Lost to Hikaru, take down Fabiano, and don't think that the players, just because they drop down the losers bracket, are any weaker than anyone else in this competition, because it's wide open for who can win this whole thing.
That's right. And we shouldn't count out Min and Andrew Tang. You just look at the scores they've had. They've been in closer matchups against very strong opposition. But that's, I think, why we're leaning towards that Naroditsky Hikaru Nakamura matchup, because they are the highest rated players on site. And while Min and Andrew both have a chance against them, we have to acknowledge that the favorites are the favorites.
Absolutely. And, we have some players still in this competition that were from the initial qualifiers, which is kind of exciting. So they've been on that run for a long period of time. And Robert, these guys are playing for some good cash here, like just qualifying into the tournament itself. I mean, these guys are going to be banking money even with a loss today.
That's right, because if you lose today, you still tie for 7th, 8th place from the losers bracket, and you get a good 4K. That's not at all a bad deal, Amon.
No, pay me 4K to lose to Hikaru, and I'll be signed up every week.
Well, for the players who haven't lost yet, they get minimum $6,000, it looks like. So we're down to 8 participants remaining. 2 will be eliminated after today's action. And speaking of today's action, we're going to go on a quick break, because when we return, we'll get our first match of the day. That is Alexander Bortnick versus Brendan Jacobson. This is the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. We'll be right back.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Todd.
Deborah says you're working on a fancy app or something.
Hold on. Not really working on it yet. I just don't know which cloud service to go with.
Well, I've got a cousin on my queen's side that swears by DigitalOcean. Says they're easy to use, have straightforward pricing, and really focus on making developers happy.
DigitalOcean, huh? I'm gonna check them out.
What the heck? hell? Dude, how are you doing that?
I'm not.
It's winner go home time in the losers bracket. This is a double elimination format, and the players have already lost one match to this point. So between Alexander Bortnick and Brandon Jacobson, at least on paper, Aman, it's a pretty level matchup.
Yeah, absolutely is. I mean, these these two guys are complete heavyweights in this format. It's actually kind of unfortunate that one of them is going to have to go home, but that's just how strong the losers bracket is. As we take a look at some of these insights, Robert, and I mean, am I just going to be the first one to say it? Losses by flag, 60%. What the heck is going on there?
He doesn't lose very often, but I guess when he does, he's just letting his time run out, or it's in the heat of a time scramble. But either way, Bortnick, he's proven that he's trying to stay in this event because he's one loss thus far. I would have to give him the nod as the favorite in this matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the insights there. The total games is the other one that I always look at. I mean, you can tell who the more active or more regular player is, but Bortnick he's competing in pretty much all the chess.com events lately. Title Tuesday, Arena Kings, the Rapid Bullet. Like he's very active at the moment. So I would say both players are pretty warmed up.
That's right. And we should remind everybody to vote in the chat. We want to hear your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Alexander Bortnick? Is it going to be Brandon Jacobson? Let us know and get involved. But I think Bortnick, he has to be the slight favorite, though. Brandon Jacobson taking down Fabiano Caruana, that has to feel pretty good. So he may be feeling particularly confident right now.
Absolutely. I think one of the interesting stats that I noticed from the insights was obviously the losses by flag for Bortnick, but also the wins by flag for Brandon Jacobson. He wins a lot again. And, when you have those stats going head to head against one another, we could see that being a pretty serious factor in this match. How many games are going to be decided on the clock?
Well, we have our game one off to a good start here. And Bortnick, he's almost always down on time in the opening stage, but he is so lightning quick when it comes to that final stage of trying to flag your opponent.
Definitely. That's such a skill to be, very good pre-mover and, just timing those perfectly. He's so good at that.
He is indeed. And right now he has both of his rooks activated. His king is safely castled, whereas Black's king is still in the center. And yet when the king comes to D7, that knight on D5, Amon, that's a great piece.
Yeah. And these kind of positions, it's, I always favor Black in my head just because no matter what happens, that, later on down the line, you've got a decent end game ahead of you if you start to put those pawns on light squares.
That's right. And this pawn E5, sometimes it's gone too far, although I like that knight trade from Bortnick's perspective, but Brandon's still ahead on the clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be the last time you say that today, Robert.
Certainly not. And this position, the king is about to go to E6. Okay, there it goes. He's pretty much pre-moved at this point, and Black is better in this endgame.
Yeah, I would. If I was Black, though, I would probably have taken the rook on D1, traded everything, and then played our king to D5. Because that active white rook, I'm starting to feel like White's got the chances.
That's right. It turned in a hurry, but now, rook H6, rook takes H5 coming. King G4, keeping the bishop safe for the moment. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, just the confidence there to leave the bishop on pre because he had his own attack as well.
Ooh, an F3 check was missed just a moment ago, and they're just in a hurry. Right now, It's Bortnick pre-moving, trying to stay in this on the clock, but Amon, 2 extra pawns for White, but 3 seconds down.
And it's all about the speed here. It looks like White's doing a really good job here, Bortnick.
Yes, he is. He's trying to run away from the checks. Look at that. He brought his king and promoted, but he lost in time.
Unbelievable. And, that's the kind of position where Jacobson is probably kicking himself for actually taking the queen on E8, right? Because he was actually playing it so much faster in the end that he would have come away with the victory if he had just kept his rook on the board.
And it's really weird. I realized I misspoke and he lost on time, but it's a draw. But his time has elapsed. No pieces remaining for Jacobson. It is half, still a tied match, but this does not look very good for White. Aren't you just losing a piece? Oof.
Yeah, this is things are crashing down here. He's actually only down 1 pawn, but it feels like so much worse than that.
Yeah, because look at the extra pawn. C5 doesn't quite work. It's covered for now, but it just feels like Black's pawns are going to start mobilizing in a second.
Amazing. White's just hanging on there. And the E3 pawn is just sitting there.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't need it. And knight back to C3. But now it really is a healthy extra pawn for Black. The king is perfectly safe, where White's is not. So have to like Bortnick's position and his clock management.
Definitely. Yeah, this is pretty clean here.
Oh, there's no back right checkmate. Make sure you don't fall for that. The knight does cover the square.
That's right.
Oh, but F7's about to fall.
Yeah, rook D7 maybe?
Yes. Really nice. Oh, but knight D8.
Look at that. And knight C5, B4.
So
some chances.
Yeah,
it's D8.
Oh, move too late there. And push that A pawn. Outside pass pawns are usually very good here.
Yeah,
all the pawns are gone.
Draw. Amazing.
Can Brandon try to win on the clock? Knight F5. Nice move. The answer was no.
Yeah. That's, if there's double digit time on the clock, that's just too much time to think about flagging players like this.
That's right. And we have an early queen trade in this game. White's pawn structure a bit compromised, but we'll look at White's activity, namely the bishop on e4.
And get used to this opening, by the way, because this is a Bortnick specialty. He plays it all the time, bullet and blitz, which usually means, someone playing an opening that often knows the ins and outs of all the intricacies.
Although, because he plays it all the time, perhaps Brandon specifically prepared for it. Look at this. He's got a better pawn structure, and now he's the open files for his rooks. Bishop c2 is a beautiful move, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll probably see rook g4, but king f8 holds it together nicely, and White doesn't really have active plans. Like, if you had queens on the board, different story, but Black is dominant here.
Yeah, I mean, look at these pieces. The knight on d5 is perfectly placed. Now the d4 pawn, it was a target, but that's why the knight went to d6, and it just feels so unpleasant for White.
It does, yeah. Both sides want that open file there, the c file.
The king quickly coming towards the center. At some point, a3 could be a consideration for White. Just
like right now. Oh, knight d5 though.
Oh, you can't take because of the fork.
Yeah, that's got to be too much.
Oh, he took on d5, the little intermezzo there, and if you take on a3, you lose. That's why the pawn goes to b3, and this feels like it should be a draw.
Yeah, we're getting another draw.
Yeah, nothing separates these two players. I mean,
wow. If this isn't a sign of things to come, Robert, I think we might get potentially the closest match of the day right off the bat.
Yes, Bortnick has a huge lead by rating to start the match, but Brandon's saying that's no matter, no mind to that. Right. And all right, well, look at White's center here. That bishop on b7 looks terrible.
Yeah, and one thing to point out is that a lot of the matches so far, I know they've been draws, but they've gone down to the wire. And I think that style of match generally favors Brandon Jacobson, I would say.
Yes, I mean, he is a bit of a speed demon, and well, right now, I mean, Eva Bar hates his position.
Yeah, knight d3 is screaming as well. b2, e1 hanging.
And now the dark squares are just black. Bishop d4 can always be played. Queen h4 is a good start. No, this.
And the eval bar is at such an insane level when the material is even. Or Black's up one pawn.
yeah. It's only one pawn, but it's minus 7.5.
That's wild.
Oh, gosh. Bishop e4. Oh! Hung's queen! What was that?
Wow. That was a swing of, literally that was a swing of about 14 or 15 eval points.
Yeah, and he had so much time on his clock.
Oh my goodness. He was just cruising, cruise control. He thought the game was wrapped up. He had a huge advantage that he didn't sense the danger.
That was surprising. And I mean, Brandon's position was seemingly hopeless, except for that one little thing, hanging your queen will allow him right back in the game.
Amazing. And we've seen this opening before. Basically, we've seen this exact position. That's a
mouse slip. And a mouse slip to b1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to back here, we had a queen hang and now a mouse slip. You can feel that just a little bit of tilt setting in there for Bortnick. He's got to stabilize.
But the mouse slip actually might have helped him because look at his lead on the clock right now. I think Brandon was a little confused. He's like, what was rook b1?
Yeah, exactly.
Deep preparation is what it was. And that knight on d5 is just going to be here all match.
Yeah, it really will. I have to say, the way Bortnick takes these positions willingly is always so interesting to me because offhand, it feels like it's easier for Black to play, but he always proves me wrong.
But it's this knight on d5 that's so strong there. It's just every single game that knight remains. And
Takes free piece.
Yeah, that rook was hitting the d2 knight.
Yeah. And
oh wait, how's he getting out? Okay, he goes back to b2.
Okay, wow. That was a nice little do-si-do there by the knight, but in the end, he manages to keep that piece. And like I said, double-digit time is usually way too much.
Yes, and it feels like Brandon, he's playing super fast, and he's up a knight and 3 pawns, and now he can start pushing his pawns.
Yeah. So I think pre-moves with the knight there are a little, I don't know, I advise against them usually because White could throw in a dirty move rook takes pawn, takes rook if you're going too quick. So it's really the only way you don't win this with Black.
And actually, it's White who's down on the clock right now, and Black's queening, so. Oh! Oh my goodness! And white had half a second remaining.
That's a huge choke. You always keep your queen and king right next to each other when you're pre-moving in the very end like that. It is risky to play those queen moves, and he gets punished for it.
It was maybe a returning the favor. You blundered your queen in the previous game while you were winning. And what's happening now? There's going to be tactics all across the board. F7, D5 squares. This is just a great position for Brandon, who is not fazed by his blunder.
Unbelievable to see that, because it was such a great game all the way up to the end, and he choked a full point there, or I guess half a point.
Yeah, although in this game, I mean, 97 check wins a piece because the bishop on b7 is loose. Yeah, there it goes. And wow, I mean, I still can't get over it. He had 3.5 extra seconds, and then he blundered his queen. Shocking.
Yeah. Wow. Well, guys, we've seen everything. The eval bar has been swinging today.
It certainly has. What I mean, why is it a full rook right now?
Yeah, it's a full rook. These are the kind of positions where you're just hoping white gets a little nervous with, the rooks kind of all over the place, hanging on weird squares, but it's not going to happen. Oh, queen g5? Although it's almost easier for white to win this position.
Yeah, because you can just take on the 7th ring. And it's important to take with the rook because there was queen d1, queen g4, if that queen left f3. And actually, this isn't so easy for white anymore.
Uh-oh, dropping a2. Hang on. Yeah, queen sits on b2 now.
Yeah. Okay, don't lose this pawn. Now it's a draw. Oh, black's playing for a win. Yeah, he's winning on time. Go back. Okay, the way Bortnick is handling this is amazing.
Yep, king h6, it's not mate.
No, it's not mate. Just one check. There it goes. Just push the pawn to a2 at some point. There it is. And queen d1. Oh, this is an unbelievable technique.
Or yeah, he can promote. That's such a nice chess to watch when you're utilizing those like perpet style checks to gain time, because you're the one in control. You know how many of them you're going to do. Your opponent doesn't.
And he was down a full rook, was Bortnick. And when Brandon put his knight on d8 and lost that piece, that gave Bortnick some hope there. So a bit of sloppy play in the last couple of games from Brandon, who's to this point having a great match.
Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely has. It's 3-3, and I got to say, it really feels like a 3-3 match. These guys are very even right now with the blunders, the mutual misses, the time scrambles.
And you said it's should be an even match. The community said 57% in favor of Jacobson, 43% thought Bortnick would win. So that's pretty even as far as it gets. And this is not even after knight takes e6, because now the knight on g6 is going to be lost, and then the h7 square is where the queen will eventually land.
Right.
Okay, good effort here. Forking the bishop, the pawn, and the queen, but queen f5 is a nice move there.
I think you take the queen. Ooh, but knight d7, maybe you don't get your knight out.
Interesting check to throw in just to go back. I guess wanted the king over here.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. King g3. Wait, how do you get out of this? King e3 is rook e8, and you can keep running to d2, right?
I think he should have gone there. He should have gone to e3.
Yeah, is he gonna rinse and repeat? Here he goes.
Oh,
what's he doing? Oh, and look at him. He's mad at himself.
That was definitely 3 times.
Yes.
But man, I wonder what he was planning there, because I don't think you were trying to take any time off the clock. He was just trying to work it out whether he actually could get out of it.
Yeah, and if his king went to e3, it would have a safe haven on d2. So that was a missed opportunity for Bortnick. In the last 5 games, there have been missed opportunities for both sides, and it remains an even match. Yeah,
no, it's fair to say that the amount of points that each side could have is probably significantly reduced. Like, both sides are probably unhappy with some of the misses.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of it is because they're in an elimination match, and you just really don't want to lose. And there has not been a 2-point spread even in this one, although rook takes b3, that's a pawn. Rook b1 is about to be checkmate as well.
I like bishop h3. It's the restricting move that you just don't want to see if you're white.
And now 2 pieces under attack. Bishop comes back here, kicking the knight, and now
is that winning a piece? Just simple?
Looks like it.
Wow.
And the extra time for black.
Yeah, this is once again, though, we've seen things messed up. King f8, though, is pretty big.
Yeah, kicking that rook out from the e-file and now winning all these pawns.
Yeah, you can't let games like this slip away, that's for sure.
Certainly not. There's got to be a checkmate with this king on h4.
Yeah, it's happening. That's for sure. I think that's force mate.
Pre-move.
Yeah, that's actually knight f2 is just the best way to finish the game.
And Bortnick, is this his first lead of the match? And
Man, are we already halfway? That's impressive.
I was like, wait, why is that game 7? Wait, no, we actually about halfway through. So, I mean, what a match it has been to this point, Aman. I don't really have the words to summarize what we've seen thus far.
I mean, that was thoroughly entertaining. I think the fans got a little bit of everything. It's close to 50-50 in the poll. The gameplay speaks for itself. Both players are not at their peak form, but we've also seen both players at their best in certain games. We've seen crushes, we've seen full queen hangs, time scrambles, a lot of draws, which just shows how even this match is, Robert, as we reach the halfway point, a 1-point lead for Bortnick.
That's right. And that queen on the yo-yo string from queen g4 to queen d1, that was, and back to d4, that was amazing. Bortnick, he's earned himself a 1-point lead, but Brandon Jacobson's right in this. We'll see if he can come back here in the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean when we return in a few. And we're back here at the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. This is the losers top 8. We are currently watching the match between Alexander Bortnick and Brandon Jacobson. And Aman, we were just talking about how Bortnick has earned his 1-point lead. Do you think that Brandon actually has to do anything differently? Because his positions from the black side of every game have been really good.
Honestly, no. Surprising as that sounds, it's like, yeah, you're down a point in a match. You're doing great. Don't change anything. But I mean it seriously. I don't think there's anything wrong. He's actually been really competitive in the time scrambles. And, things like a full queen hang and things like that, they're not going to happen all the time. You can't expect that. So I think, those are just going to go the other way in a good percentage of these matches. And we could easily see him get, a 1-point edge in the second half of this match. And I mean, my goodness, we could be seeing a tiebreak.
Oh, that would be exciting. And Bortnick has switched from e4 to d4. He probably has not been fond of the positions he's been receiving from the white end of those Sicilians. So here we go. Oh my gosh, you cannot afford that blunder. I mean, that's just bad. Basic.
It is basic. It has to be said. And certainly not the way you want to come out of the break, right? With all that adrenaline and energy ready to go again. That's unfortunate. Now knight e6 even.
Yeah, it takes an h7, exactly your idea. Just get another pawn and you're up in exchange and a pawn now trading off, going for rook f3, rook h3, ride the lift, deliver checkmate.
Ooh,
there's bishop e2.
Missed big opportunity there. And you're not going to get many of those. In fact, he resigns the next move. You're not going to get many of those chances when you're down significant material.
No, I mean, you have to be on the lookout for those kind of things. And Brandon, I think he was just frustrated based on a very elementary blunder for somebody of his caliber. And here we go again. We have this bishop on b7, bishop on g7, not looking good. And white needs to punch his pawns forward at some point.
Right. And honestly, Robert, the first half of that match I felt went so quickly. So you can't really let the lead get to 3+ points, because all of a sudden the second half of this match is just going to disappear.
That's right. And we've seen many closed positions, and that takes up time. So the longer these games go, the less time obviously remaining for the players to get a comeback. So the bishop came back to e3. Amon love to get that knight to e3 to kick that rook out of f5. g4 at some moment could be a tactical threat if you're not careful from black's perspective. But for now, at least a moment ago, the f4 score.
Wow.
Whoa.
What the heck is going on here? Because after, just g4?
Yeah, that was not a good piece sacrifice.
No, maybe just knight c7, knight e6.
And traded queens. Now you have a piece for what, one pawn?
Yeah, that's a little underwhelming. Also, the rook on g5, perma-trapped.
Yeah.
Right? You have to play pawn to e4 if you're black. Otherwise, there's no chance.
Rook h5. That was a clever move.
He got his rook out.
He did. He saved his rook, but he's also down on the clock. So not a good place to be when you're down a piece and down on time.
You can play knight e4 here. It is a little tricky. Yeah, got to get those pieces in.
Oh, knight g5.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you're dropping the rook somewhere there.
What? Knight takes d6? Knight takes d6 did not feel very necessary. Don't get forked. Just the one thing you can't afford.
Great. And as white, it's always like such a perfect feeling when you finally take that damn knight off the board. You just know your job's going to be easy.
That was smooth. That was clean at the end.
That was, yeah.
And we're back to our good old Alapin Sicilian.
Yeah, the chat's getting some good theory out of today's match.
I don't actually know this whole variation with the queen coming to b3 and stuff like that. I think knight d3 check looks very appealing to my eyes. A6, a little quiet move.
Very quiet. And this has been seen before. He loves this like bishop g5 and hey, I'm either going to trade or you're going to have to move your queen early on.
Didn't he just have a3 there because the knight was sort of stuck on b4, so it had to go back to d5, which would have cost a pawn. So
he would have got a pawn there. I guess, it's bullet, so he's probably using that bullet mentality where you're just like, okay, I lose a pawn, but whatever, I get castled.
It's true.
2-second thought process.
Well, I mean, and Bortnick's up a little bit on the clock right now, and that's the good news. Oh gosh, bishop c4, knight d6.
Some stuff.
Ooh,
wow, that is very nice.
Knight f3 check.
Yeah, this is a destruction on the king side now.
It's amazing, right? You miss one tactic, that was Bortnick, and then you miss one for yourself, and then give one to your opponent right away. F5 looked like it was about to win a piece a moment ago, but
yeah, those are always weird where the rook is facing the queen, but actually it's pinned to the rook. So who's more scared?
Definitely not Brendan. And didn't take there because there was a back rank checkmate. Oops, sorry. The queen had the b8 square for checkmate. So that's why creating some luck for the king was important.
This is really nasty now.
Whoa.
Yeah, just queen f3.
I mean, good by Bortnick to create.
Oh,
queen takes b4. Oh my gosh.
That's not the first queen hang, and I'm not even sure if it's going to be the last queen hang we see.
And Brandon's down on time. Queen d4, great.
Oh,
I would even
goodness.
think queen e5. Look at that great decision.
Oh, he's going to queen first.
Unbelievable.
White gets the win. That is a throw and a half in this match, 6.5 to 4.5 when, it all looked like it should have evened up there. He hung his whole queen again for the second time in this match, Robert.
Yeah, no, that was something there. But they were in full-on bullet mode where they weren't even really looking at the board fully.
Right.
They were just trying to make moves as quickly as possible, and that was a shocking turn of events.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, obviously, these guys are still playing at a pretty high level, but both of them can admit this is a shaky all-around performance. As maybe those nerves trying to stay in the competition. This is a full elimination game here.
And well, that's a way to fully eliminate the c pawn, and d5 pawn is now a target, and rook c1. There's no attack for black on the king side, so Brandon is up a healthy pawn right now.
And you say no attack, but even something like knight takes g3 and queen g5, I'm thinking about in positions like this.
I mean, Bortnick did it in positions where he had less of an attack. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
with
true.
you. Queen f4, trade those queens.
Yeah, queen h5 and queen h8, just say no at all costs.
And queen g3, the queens are gone. The rook controls the c file, white's up a pawn on the queen side, and yet the engine says zeros, of course.
Yep. Yeah, those double pawns are just so bad on the other side of the board.
And well, double no more because
Yeah,
Bortnick
now
stole
they're not
one.
double. Hang
Well,
on a sec.
Look at the clock, though.
Yeah, and look at that bishop on h4. I mean, it's like kind of, it is trapped.
Oh, takes an a5. And
Yeah,
move
now
your bishop.
b4. Oh
Push that
no,
pawn.
but the bishop had to go to b4 to continue to trap that guy on h4.
That's a really good call. Oh my gosh, he's losing. He traded,
Yeah,
thinking he might
F5,
win with.
GG.
Oh my goodness. And then g4.
Brandon Jacobson has thrown away so many potential points in just the last 3 games alone.
Yeah, he's playing great in the start, and then something happens where Bortnick starts speeding up, and I think that could be getting to Brandon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is now, I'm just taking a look at the clock. About half the time since we took that break has elapsed, and the point difference is now, well, it's a 3-point gap. So it has to start closing because it's going to start to get into that mathematical territory soon.
That's right. And I mean, look at this position. Great for Black, head on the clock. He's moving super quickly to start these games. He just needs to put Bortnick away.
Mm-hmm. He's doing everything he needs to do, like king up to d3 from Bortnick, but look how fast Black is moving here.
Yeah. And I mean, he needs to find a plan right now because his position looks good, but there are no actual threats. So he's probably shuffling for the time being. And there he goes, c5. And
I love that.
He got rid of his isolated pawn for a very strong central pawn. Here comes e5, king coming out to c6 or e6. What's this?
Ooh, watch out though. These positions are so tricky. Rook d2, and there's just, the king is out in the open, just kind of flying around, always dangerous.
Oh, knight a5 check was missed when the king was on c6.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so white is going to go after this black king, but somehow the king is not in too much danger, even though it looks like it is.
I always feel like these positions turn out rook b4, turn out well for white, but we'll see.
Look at the clock. Bortnick's ahead.
Oh my goodness. This could literally be anyone's game.
Oh, and he blunders a rook.
It's unreal. The blunders, they always happen right near the end of the game, and they're so catastrophic. Like, the full pieces. It's hard to recover.
I really think it's Bortnick. When he starts speeding up, it gets to Brandon. Because Brandon starts with like an 8-second lead in every game, and then suddenly Bortnick evens up the clock, and
look at the speed. Like, he's gonna flag his opponent.
Yeah,
and it's crazy the way he speeds up at the end, because you're calling it. He's down 5 to 10 seconds every game, like, period.
That's his MO. And right now, you said, speaking of mathematical territory, there is enough time. If Brandon wins the next 3 games, he'll have enough time for that 4th game to play catch up, but it's not looking good right now.
But that's why, I mean, you're bringing it up. That's why this game is so crucial. I mean, a loss here is pretty much the match.
It is. And I mean, this looks like a great endgame for white. This pressure to knight e1, such a nice move.
That's a good one. And even king takes g2 there would have been fine. But this knight's kind of bouncing around. I'm not sure you can keep that pawn.
No, you can't. And now there's always knight b5 type stuff coming. And there it is. And so Brandon's still up 4 or 5 seconds. And watch out for rook c5 to c7. He's got a potential attack here. Ooh.
You just go d5? No.
Is
bring the knight d5. That makes sense.
Yeah, that looks really strong. This f7 pawn does didn't I just walk into it?
Yeah, that was weird.
It's over. Rook c7. You can pre-move that safely. That he does, and it's just mate against this king.
That's got to be mate.
Okay, where is the check?
h4. I think just h4.
Simple, strong. And this knight is loose, and otherwise there's
take,
rook g7, knight g6, and then rook h8 mate, or rook g8. Doesn't matter.
You can't say Brandon isn't making a push. And Bortnick, obviously, he knows the situation. He's going to use every last bit of time to try to take time off the match clock.
That's right. All Bortnick needs is a single draw, and he will win this match.
Yep.
But he has looked shaky in some of these games. I mean, Brandon has just simply outplayed him in a number.
He has outplayed him. And it also has to be said that Jacobson has always had the chance to win and just committed a serious, costly blunder near the end of the game. So if he gets those same games can put 2 or 3 in a row without that last final blunder, he's going to have real chances.
That's right. And I don't really think you want a queenless position if you're Brandon, because Bortnick has been the faster of the two players. So getting into a position like this feels like a nightmare.
I would take that knight. Yeah. Hey, this is bullet. Give me the knight against the bishop. I don't care about the position.
And the position is locked up. Knights tend to be better than bishops. And where's the knight going to? D4, take with a C pawn, maybe? Here it comes.
Yeah,
Which is the rook.
I agree. Yeah, taking him to C pawn looked interesting there.
Oh, what a good move. Rook A8. Just keeping the queen side frozen. And if A takes B4, you wouldn't be able to take the pawn. Now, just bring your king to protect that C7 pawn.
Mm-hmm. Black's definitely better. But this is the kind of position where, objectively, this is probably not a win.
But look at the clock as well. And I know Bortnick's going to catch up. But for now, it's all Jacobson.
Right. You can't play F3.
Why do he spent so long playing that move?
Yeah, but hang on. This endgame has to be good, no?
It looks like it, but isn't this white king just going to G2? But you can flag him, right?
That's the thing, though. You play F4 and you sit there and you time it perfectly. So you always play King H3 on King H5.
Oh, gosh. He made it easy. Just go King anyway. Don't make a draw. Don't make a draw.
Play King F6.
Bring your king anyway. No, don't make a draw.
Why not play?
He had more time. Just throw in like a C5 at some point.
He could just play King G7, even lose the F pawn.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to try. Given the match situation, you had to attempt there. Yeah, hey, honestly, he might have even lost it, but I think that's your moment where you take that risk.
Right, because now the match is over. But mathematically speaking, we look at the clock, we look at the score, it's done. So a loss and a draw was the same. Yeah.
I think that's going to be it, guys. And Jacobson, it just has to be said, like, in the moment where you just needed to be a little more of a match strategist, he wasn't paying attention to the clock. He thought he had a closer score, whatever it was. He just wasn't fully aware of the situation.
And I guess part of it, I know some people don't believe in the whole being clutch thing, but I do feel like Bortnick was way more clutch in this match.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. He won the games he needed to win.
And just the speed. I mean, if he could play quicker in the opening, he's already like 3,200. I feel like if he just had faster chess at the start of the game, he would be like 100 points higher. That's an exaggeration.
We all know that if you change one aspect of the game, everything else remains the same. So just be faster at the start, and then you'll just be the best player in the world.
But it's curious because, and I was exaggerating a bit, but it's curious because he plays the same opening every time. So you would expect him to play more quickly in the opening.
It's true.
And Bortnick once again down 10 seconds.
Oh, that's a free night and a free broke. It's a free everything.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's not what you want to see. And Bortnick takes one pawn, just knight F5. Second time today.
He can't take it.
Yeah. And will he be able to win this game? That's what I'm curious about. Oh. Nah, no way.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too much.
He was close though.
Yeah, very close. And probably, last game it looks like here, but I think at this point, and even during that game, I think it sort of set in for Brandon that he wasn't going to have a chance to win this match.
That's right. So he'll still collect a cool $4,000 coming his way. So it's been a great showing from Brandon, who made it through the qualifiers. So, he earned his right to be here.
Yeah, I always like to hear about that. Like, there's obviously the guys seeded straight in, the best players in the world in bullet chess, but the qualifiers, I like to see that underdog story.
You just see that exchange sack on D7. I mean, Bortnick's like, I've wrapped this match up, but I'm still going to play some dazzling chess.
Yep.
Okay, so Bishop E7. What a calm move. Just like, I'm going to develop my piece.
Queen C2, B3. White's going to play positionally.
Yeah, it's just the knights are a bit annoying for Black to deal with. And trading.
Wow. The bishop on E7. still guarding the queen there.
And Brandon's double the time.
Yep. Yeah, it was, where was this, right?
I think if Brandon could start the match over again, he already had a good chance in it, but he would love to start this one over just based on how well he's played throughout it. He just, in those time scrambles, he never had it.
Yeah, and the time is now at 0. Maybe Bortnick or even Brandon are checking that, but yeah, we won't see another game after this, and that'll be the match. 9.5 to 7.5. It's kind of nice that Brandon got to 7.5 points just visually, because I honestly think that is more representative of how damn close this match was, Robert.
That's right. I mean, it really was neck and neck, and there was a 4-point spread at some point. But if you go in the individual games, Brandon had a shot in every single one. He was often ahead on the clock, but in those time scrambles, that's what it all boiled down to. Bortnick was simply faster. He's Bortnick strong. He
is, and super impressive performance. I thought early on it was a pretty good start for Brandon. So Bortnick did a good job of not getting out of control. He had those early games where I mentioned, I think the tilt was setting in. You had the mouse slip, the bad blunder, a few points left on the table, so to speak. And I thought he pulled himself together, put a strong performance, was more or less even a point ahead at the break. And then he just powered through in the second half.
He certainly did. It was a masterful performance there by Alexander Bortnick. So he stays alive in this tournament. Brandon Jacobson, he has to see his way out of it. But Bortnick will face the loser of one of today's matchups. So we'll see that. But first, we're going to have Jose Martinez take on Arjun Erigaisi. And that's coming up right after this break. This is the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. We'll be right back for the second match of the day.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Todd.
Deborah says you're working on a fancy app or something?
Hold on. Not really working on it yet. I just don't know which cloud service to go with.
Well, I've got a cousin on my queen's side that swears by DigitalOcean. Says they're easy to use, have straightforward pricing, and really focus on making developers happy.
DigitalOcean, huh? I'm gonna check them out.
What the hell? Dude, how are you doing that? I'm not.
Christopher Yu's puzzle score that he just threw up in a practice round. Let's bring that up.
Look at
Dude,
that.
he's just throwing down, putting up a casual 47.
Chill. I just got out of bed, sipped some water, 47. He got to 50, but that's 48. He can close the gap. 26 seconds left. He can't get another one wrong.
Oh my God. Dude,
He
if you
finds
pulls
it,
off the
still
comeback,
two.
you had to win by 2 heading in this last round. Oh, Min Lee,
52. I don't know what's about to happen. I have no idea what is about to happen. You can hold your breath for 10 seconds here.
strike. Oh no, Christopher goes out
Chris
with
is
2
out.
strikes.
Oh wait,
Oh wait, but he got 2.
Oh my goodness.
Are we tied?
It's tied, right? That's the
Oh
two.
my God,
That's
we're
plus
tied.
2. Men out here beating himself up. Let's get that on camera. That 52. Wow.
Oh my God, Min Lee was tapping his head. He's like, what's going on here?
46.
Okay.
Extending.
Oh, I'm nervous.
I am too. Like, I don't know what's gonna. 20 seconds.
Oh no,
This is
why
down
am
to the wire
talking like
chat.
this? Oh, he gets
Oh, it's
TG3, but he
over.
misses it.
Oh my
Min Lee
goodness.
strikes out.
It's out of there.
Christopher Yu
there.
moves on.
Wow, Christopher,
Oh
you what
my
to do?
Gosh,
Your
bro.
hard flex from a young fella. Wow.
Dude, this is the best mutual run we've had all day. 53 and 52.
Absolutely. 53, 52.
2 people
Ooh,
at 53.
What on earth are they doing?
Oh
They're running
my
up the check.
gosh.
Hikaru's got
Hikaru's
52.
got 52.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
With more time,
And he's
he's
got
gonna beat him.
53.
He's got 53.
He's gonna beat him.
He beats
He's gonna beat
Jeffrey.
him. Andrew has 52. No,
Shut
Andrew has
up.
52. Oh my God, Andrew has 52.
Oh my goodness, 53,
Oh my God.
52. Jeffrey
Where
could
did he take
lose. He
And
got
he's
it.
got 53.
He
He
took him
got
out.
it. He got it.
God,
The last run. folks.
The last
He gets
run?
53.
this is insane.
What?
Oh my lands, there's 50,
Man.
20 seconds left. Can he get to 52 or 53?
Green.
He gets to
my
51.
goodness.
He gets to 52. Jimis with the third strike.
What a
Big
show.
trouble here.
Sheesh.
53. Oh
Woo.
my
All
goodness,
green.
he's gonna go 54.
Big Ray.
Oh
and
my
have
God,
a
he's gonna
nice
get
day.
55.
Wow. Put caps
Yeet.
on my
he almost
name.
made 55. He
Ugh.
gets a 10-point lead
54.
and not a single strike. Jimis has 51 as well. What a great way to end a fantastic Puzzle Battle World Championship. Just look at this, 53-52.
That's how you end it.
Ray Robson is, for the 3rd time in a row, the Puzzle Battle World Champion.
In the words of Fabiano Caruana, you cannot win without sacrifice, but you don't have to sacrifice much because the all-new Classroom is live on chess.com. Classroom offers the very best virtual class experience for coaches, schools, and students. You can connect with anyone at any time with native video and voice conferencing. Check out the best way to teach and learn at chess.com/classroom. And Aman, we are in the middle of the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. We have Jose Martinez, we have Arjun Erigaisi. When you look at these insights here, who's your favorite in the match?
Well, one thing I've learned from these insights is every single strong bullet player on chess.com plays with about 80% accuracy. I think that's the magic number. But in this match, I have to go with Jose Martinez as the favorite here. Maybe that's not too surprising. I think it's very easy to underestimate Gandivam 2003. A lot of people may be a bit less familiar with his chess, especially his bullet chess. But for me, Jacobson, just how many matches he plays. You can see the volume of games as well. I think he's the favorite in this match for me.
Yeah, look at those numbers there. Double the amount of games approximately for Jacobson. I'm going to have to go with Jose. I mean, Arjun is super strong. He was first known for being a blitz specialist. Then he made his way back to classical chess. He won the Tata Steel Challengers group. He's just been having great performance after great performance, including the Indian Championship. And now we see he has the black pieces, but he's also underrated here. I mean, 29.68. That is not how strong Arjun is.
Criminally underrated. And this is a guy who's, as you touched on there, he's had tremendous success OTB as well lately. So the guy is in tremendous form. And I think when you're playing well over the board and it's transitioning to online, that's a scary opponent.
And yes, very true. And while we're in game one, let's remind the chat to get involved. Vote on who you think will win. Will it be Arjun? Will it be Jose? In game one, it looks like Jose's off to a good start, but all of a sudden, what is this? There's a pin on the rook on
E1. Yeah.
Yeah. How much does black have for the queen?
It's a good question. You know, it was kind of weird, but it might have been better to take on f8 with a piece and then run your king to h7 after bishop f7 check, because the way that it worked out, you might lose every single one of your kingside pawns.
Yeah, and the king is still in danger here. Look at this. You have to go right back to d5. What is this? Cannot be a repetition. Okay,
Yeah,
no.
no way.
But here's, to your point, maybe the king can run away now. King g7, step one. And
How do you develop though?
yeah, that bishop can't get out of here.
Like,
They're just repeating moves.
no,
Knight
but
f4.
now,
Knight f4.
ooh, knight f4 is a fun move. The thing about this though is I thought now you get the bishop out to e6, and why did white let that happen?
Well, taking more pawns. It seems like both sides, they're playing nervously in the first game. And well, that's
Nervous. Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah, that h pawn is going to be the decider, I think. King e7 more or less forced.
Here it comes. Queen g3. Oh, h7
Wow.
was still possible because of queen c7 check. But the players just h7. How do you
And-
promote this pawn, though?
It's a really good question. I'm not sure you do.
Oh, he hung the rook. Oh, gosh. Wow. And that was great by Jose to put the queen on a8, just taking away that check.
I was going to say, I thought that it was a pretty unreal defense by Erigaisi to get that far. Like, this was queen. I thought the position should have been converted rather easily, but even his defense there to make it that far was super impressive. So really unfortunate he just hung that rook after such hard work.
Yeah. And I mean, he really did a great job because he could have just lost any moment. He finally untangled his pieces. And now with the black pieces, it looks like Jose, he's doing a great job trying to make this 2-0, because look at the coordination of black's forces. A4 at some moment will strike on the queen side, and the activity with bishop b5 next.
Yeah, bishop b5 is, I mean, that's just material. I think it's got to give up the exchange here, surely.
Yes, and no checkmate. Just one pawn up here isn't going to land a checkmate, but knight g4, you need to get your queen in somehow. There's no
Knight a6
access.
to c5 and queen b2.
Dang, who are you playing like this amazing strategic moves here? Just say, I don't care about any attack. Let me bring my pieces in the dark squares.
Hey, Robert, if there's a queen trade, I'll find it.
And you know who else will find it? It's Jose. Jocelyn trades the queens like nobody I've seen before.
I think that's why we like playing each other. We're both happy.
Oh, wait a second. It seemed for a moment there the evaluation was shifting back towards white's favor, which is surprising given the extra material. Oh my gosh, knight c6.
And d4, and those pawns are just sailing down the board.
Oh, hung the
That's a
queen.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh. And Arjun was having a really rough start to that game, and then everything went right for him.
Oh, did he just make the most basic mistake in chess?
Yes.
Oh no, this is #1 taboo for the Caro-Kann, especially in bullet. It's just so easy to forget as black that h4 by white is a totally reasonable and top variation. And yeah, e6 just traps your bishop.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and show it really quickly. The point is that this bishop needs some space, and after e6, g4, the bishop goes back this way. There was h5, so the g4 did in fact trap the bishop. And now back to the game here. It looks like, well, the extra piece is speaking volumes, and it's too early in the match to resign. But at some point, if you drop a piece on move 5 or whatever it was, you'll have to resign to save match clock.
Yeah, I think the first time it happened, you definitely have to play it out because you're sort of curious, what sort of form is my opponent in?
That's right. And well, the fact that Arjun's still in this game is already showing that he's in pretty decent shape for today's action. b6 should be played. His point was that there's a rook a1 check if you ever take, and he drops his knight back instead, which I think allows white to close the position and have an easy time with it.
I was going to say, if I was white, I'd play g6. Letting black play g6. Hey, if you're going to be down a piece, I think this is honestly one of the most reasonable positions to try to play. Like, it's dead loss, but you've got a chance here. You got a really strong fortress.
And the clock right now, Arjun is ahead on the clock, but as you keep telling me, okay, well, that's not what you were telling me. But
as I keep telling you, don't play knight a7. I always say it.
Robert, you got to learn that lesson. Knights on the rim are dim. But what I was going to say, as long as there are 2 digits on the clock, then it should be a win for the side with more material.
That's right. Yeah, it's hard to battle the raw evaluation of the position. And 2-1. Now we've actually seen queen hangs in every match thus far. So hopefully that's not going to be a regular occurrence.
You don't know that they wrote that into the rules for the bullet chess games. You have to hang your queen at least a couple times per match.
That like chess.com has to do that for the next event. Like just host the tournament right around April 1st and just throw that at the bottom of the contract.
You signed it. If you don't hang your queen, we're going to force you to resign the game. But look at this position. Knight takes d5. You can't take on d4, which you'd like to because knight takes f6 is check. So unfortunately for black, you are just dropping all sorts of pieces because knight takes c6, knight e7 check to follow. And I just want to say quickly that thanks to everyone who voted. Jose 57%, Arjun 43%. So another close prediction.
Wow, and I really love the move there. Queen takes d4 by Jose, voluntarily giving up the queen and just trying to let the imbalance speak for itself. Totally winning for white, but imbalances are always tough to play.
That's true. And rook coming to e5, rook to h5 was the plan, but the queen was under attack. And look at
on h5, but then you can't get the rook in.
That's right. Jose is really hanging on for now.
Yeah, impressive.
Okay, just king h2, queen takes e6, and where's the checkmate coming from?
Yeah, you sort of have to do it the slow way, like, f7, I don't even know, f7, knight g6.
And black is down, knight f5 probably is good because you can't take it. Knight d5 shouldn't be too bad either.
Really good resilience
here.
I think black is getting out of this. Bishop g6.
Bishop g6? Yeah, and the f6 is going to fall probably.
We've seen queen against bishop and rook before. We might get it again.
Bishop, I mean, the defense by Jose right now is unbelievable. He's better.
Crazy.
He's going for an attack for himself.
He's got 3 seconds, though. It's all about the flag here.
Okay, in 5 seconds, it's a very close game. Oh, he wins the queen.
No, the knight needs to get in to give some checks. So one thing about Erigaisi, very underrated, is he was actually playing insanely fast in that endgame. It's just like, I think it's the way the moves get brought to the server because it feels like he's slow. He's actually pre-moving.
Yeah, and Jose, you see him shake his head. He could not believe that he was able to win that game, and he won on the clock. Yeah, that was really close.
Now, what I always say, Robert, about those end games where each side has like 3 seconds is the guy who ends up flagging the other is usually the player that sort of realizes that they need to play fast. Like whoever checks the clock and it's like, oh, I have 3 seconds, is just the person who wins. So you got to have that awareness to check the clock while you're checking the madness that's going on the board right now.
Yeah, look at this. White has sacrificed a piece, but all the pawns are going forward here. It looks like black has the blockade that's needed for now, but if you take on h5, then in comes f5. It still is not super easy for Arjun, but he is the side with the advantage, and especially if you take on h5. Oh my gosh, all the pawns are falling.
Literally everything. Yeah.
Take a b3. He's taking like 4 pawns in a row.
Yeah, there's just not enough left in this position.
You don't have any more pawns to give up at this point. B2.
Yeah, b2 is even defending b1 is that bishop.
Gives up another pawn.
Yeah, why not? I mean, fuel to the fire.
Okay, take the queen, take the bishop, and it's a full extra piece and extra time for Arjun.
Knight f3 check is
that's a beautiful tactic.
Yeah, that's gorgeous there. Taking back with a check from the rook on g8 and removing the defender of the rook on d5.
Good awareness by Arjun, and now he is down just 1 point again. And this looks like a line where this e4 pawn, it's can be targeted a bunch, but oh my, what is this?
This is bullet chess, right?
Okay, that is true. That is what it is. So take f4, just castles. Okay, this is bullet chess. Yes, I now understand.
Yeah, because in any other time control that's just a little bit longer, number one, white never plays that. And number two, if he does, he loses.
Oh, this rook's hanging on a8. I was like, didn't black just win a free rook? And the answer is no, because white regains the material. But the back rank is a problem for white.
Yeah, remember, white's up a pawn here, but black's actually the one favored as, hang on, rook takes f5. Oh my
goodness.
So sweet.
And queen c5 with knight f2 check to follow. The knight's under attack.
Remember, knight e7 was a huge threat to deliver checkmating too, so the queen had to keep that covered.
The queen does everything. It attacks the knight, defends f2, covers e7, and that's a win for Jose.
Jeez. That was a pretty serious calculation there. Okay, not going for d4, Jose out of the opening. So Arjun getting a quick knight g4. Usually, you're not trying to allow your bishop to get captured that early usually.
No, and then at some point d5, and there's going to be an army of pawns coming forward in the center. So d5 just not possible for the moment because the e5 pawn is loose, and now it's a threat.
There you go. Yeah, rook a to e8, d5.
Now, this looks terrible for white.
Yeah, because you can't get d5 in yourself as white, and when black plays d5, you no longer have knight e5 because your other knight had to move. So both knights have to go to squares backwards instead of the great squares available in the center.
But look at that tactical awareness by Jose. His knight was not doing anything. Now it gets to trade off because the queen was on c7, so the knight could move from c6. So all of a sudden, Aman, at least white has activity and chances on the queen side.
Yeah, look for b4, b5 to get thrown in there regardless. I mean, here it maybe even works, but...
knight takes d4. I mean, you just got to take the central pawn.
That's
like
right,
now.
Yeah. You can do it now, but it's so much worse than it was before.
Okay, so take on g4. Let's do a little trading here.
Watch out for mate ideas on g7.
A queen d7 here. Oh, queen d7 hit everything.
But hang on, now you're not even necessarily getting the exchange out of this. h6, queen h5, king h7.
Queen d8.
Unreal. What are these moves?
I don't know. I can't tell
E3.
you. Wait, opening the G file just has to be bad for white. Oh my gosh.
No. You can't survive this.
Yeah,
Because
checkmate.
knight f3 happens after that.
Yeah, just checkmate. Rook takes g2. And where's the mate? Knight e2 and rook g1. Yeah, rook g1's mate. Wow. Checkmate.
Rook g1. He sees it. Nothing you could do though as Jose, I think, in that position.
No. Once you took on g7 and open up the rooks, you were in a world of trouble.
Mm-hmm. And I'm getting used to the how fast the pace of these matches is, because I see the score is 4-3, and we took our break in the last match at 4.5, 3.5. So this could be that last game before we take our break halfway. And there's a big difference momentum-wise between a 2-point lead and a tied match.
That's right. And to this point, they've been trading off blows here. Each side has had their chances. And I do think Jose, he's earned his lead thus far, but Arjun is always in striking distance.
And commentator curse.
But right back there, look at these bishops.
Yeah, bishop to b1.
D5, because you can't take on e5, this bishop h7
Oh, that's a great tactic. Yeah, just to mobilize that pawn. Because you put the pawn on d5, supported by the light squared bishop. Black's never touching that pawn.
No. And you could even have rammed it up to d6 there. And I mean, white just had all the space. Okay, I think I know what he wants. Queen h6 for a checkmate. And that's why bishop b6 says, nope.
Yeah, trading that bishop off, though, helps black tremendously.
But look at the clock. Oh, drop the pawn. F4, just protect.
Yeah, there's nothing going on here, actually. I kind of prefer white. Bishop f3. You can go king h2 and rook g1.
Yeah, you had to at that point. And if rook c4, you could have gone off with this f4 pawn. Bishop f5.
Wow. Great response, though.
He wants bishop g6, but there's just queen takes f4. And, well, white's an exchange down. But time.
He wants bishop d5, though. Guard that pawn.
Rook d2 is such a good move. Rook takes g2.
Force the trade.
Oh, I had rook g2. All right. Extra time for white, but the extra material for black.
Jose is down on time. I'm very curious to see how this time scramble goes.
Oh, rook c3 take on a3. No, this is just, he's taking this. Jose's too fast. Oh! Oh, he tricked him.
It's so much easier to play with the rook. You just stay on the dark squares, really, and give the checks. However, you risk losing the game if you don't take that pawn.
Yeah, but now he's up on the clock, so.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, that's just really, like, the speed. You can absolutely tell, at least I can, like, a clear difference between the players and just, like, raw speed. When it comes down to it, sometimes in the previous match, it was more like, oh, Bortnick just needs to be reminded that he needs to play quick, and then both of those guys are really fast. But for me, I see Jose is just a faster player between the two, and that's kind of the difference at the moment.
I agree. Jose has that Bortnick speed. He also has that Bortnick strength. So right now he's out to a 2-game lead over Arjun Erigaisi, who will have his chance to make a comeback after this break here at the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. Welcome back. We're here in the Bullet Chess Championship losers top 8. We already saw Alexander Bortnick make his way through the losers quarterfinals. Aman, this is Jose Martinez, Arjun Erigaisi, and right now Jose with a 2-point lead. What does Arjun have to do differently?
Well, I think right now, as I mentioned right before we went to break, to me, Jose is simply the faster player. However, Arjun has shown his resourcefulness and his competitiveness in this match on the board. So I think that he needs to avoid getting in these time scrambles. Whether it's even material or not, it just feels like Jacobson is always going to have that upper hand and be able to flag. So get it done on the board. He's a very quick player during the match because he's often up on time when it comes to time scrambles. But even up on time, Robert, he's somehow getting flagged. So get it done in the middle game with the tactics as he has done so far in the match.
Yeah, Arjun has had some nice tactical shots. Oh my goodness, wasn't Queen A5 check just winning the pawn E5? Like
it was, but even this is no good either for White. This just looks like a weird opening to play.
Wasn't that brilliant though? If you normally play the Caro-Kann to play D6 in a game, like that was actually, I don't know if it was a mouse slip, but it was brilliant.
So they've done it before, if you remember. It was like the first game of the entire match. The exact same opening happened. Black did not play D takes E5. White played E takes D6. And now he was probably like, oh, wait, maybe it'll work this time if he plays it again.
It's like the onside kick, right? You start the second half, your opponent's expecting you just to kick off normally. You do the onside kick. But right now, look at this for Jose. He's got a knight that's entrenched on the D6 square. I mean, this is brutal.
I don't even know how you handle this position because White has got a commanding edge according to the eval bar, and he's up nothing.
Yeah, there's this piece on D6. That's just amazing.
Yeah. Black does have a win condition of, somehow getting the knight blockade on D7 and just do nothing, just to sit there.
But the eval bar is doing pull-ups. Like it keeps going up and down and up and down and rook B8 check. Wow.
Oh, it's going to go up all the way now.
Yeah. That's game. That's actually a really nice finish to that game.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like it was completely locked up, and I feel like I looked away or blinked, and boom, every pawn disappeared, and rook b8 winning the games on the board.
Yep. And now we have. So I tend not to like double pawns in quicker time controls, but when it's the bishop pair, I also love that. So now I'm having conflicted feelings here.
Yeah, one thing about these positions, I usually get kind of a rough feeling when the knight gets to a5 for black, but when that's not possible, it's usually there's just not enough firepower on the pawn on c4.
Yeah, that's true. Allowing this knight to take the bishop on e2, like that must have been that was strange. I mean, that feels like not what you want, but still white doing well because the knight comes to e3 and can hop into the middle. d5, by the way, might push the bishop back to 8, not anymore.
I think on the previous turn, that would have been a really good option. Like maybe an almost winning option, strategically winning.
And look at Arjun go. He's pushing his pawns. He's going to try to go for g5. This bishop on b2 is a really bad piece, but it can come to c1 and then make itself very good.
I think it will. It'll go to e3. And pay attention to the time. Erigaisi's up on the clock as well. We've seen this before. He's got a great position. But if he's not able to increase the advantage over the next, let's say, 15 seconds each, I think he is at risk of getting flagged again.
Yeah, and I think he missed a tactical shot there. That's why the evaluation went back towards approximate equality, slightly better for white. Though this pawn, f5 and knight.
He's still playing it super well. King f3, king f4. You got rook takes d6.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good move, though. Bishop h5.
So annoying.
You have to go here, king f4 now, and it's a trade of pieces. And white is better with more space and more time.
Yeah, and I would have fell for this exact same thing.
Winning. King h5, king g6.
Now,
play rook e7.
Oh, that would be a real sneaky move.
But Arjun, he's not pre-moving. Oh my gosh, he's giving away the...
No, he needed to play rook b7 and then f6 after rook a6.
Mm-hmm. Wait, the king was... What is happening here?
I don't know, but 1 second for Jacobson, you have to expect, like, if white can't flag this, then there's not a lot of hope in this match for him, and he does get that flag. That's super, super important for Erigaisi.
And what Jacobson's proving is he is not going to lose a game unless it goes down to the wire, and he's going to give it every last bit of effort. And this queen trade is just good for white.
Yeah, with the pawn on h5, this is really rough to look at. Bishop c5 check as well. All the pieces are sort of getting where they want to go.
Yeah, you can keep trading if you'd like. Bishop d6, knight f5. Okay, knight f5 first, going for this bishop.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe keep the bishop on the board. Yeah, I like that.
Takes your advice.
I like the decision. Now for white, it would actually be really nice if the knight on c3 could go to e3. So I'm thinking of a knight d1, knight e3, if I'm honest.
Oh, that move's not going to get it done. There was a tactic somewhere.
Yeah, where was it?
Yeah, I've been looking for it.
I think honestly, knight h6 is a pretty reasonable move.
Yeah, to force the rook over to h8 and double in the default. That actually was almost certainly it. Oh gosh, Fork City.
Yeah, and now g4 happens. Everything gets connected. Pawns are dropping, and Jose Martinez has a commanding position here.
Checkmate.
So yeah, that's always a good one.
Okay, so why is this such a huge advantage?
You know what, Robert? I was wondering, did they update the engines or something? Because the engines have been spitting out some wild evaluations, like +8 when you're like down 2 pawns.
Yeah, no, it's the Stockfish 14.1 NNUE. So it's like the really, really, really strong ones that are like, yeah, no, I see through all this. It's just
I'm 20 moves down the line, and trust me, you lose, kid.
Ooh, f6. That pawn is just going to be captured or not. Okay, f4 is... Oh, I mean, black is really hanging in there, and he's up on time.
Yeah.
He's winning all the pawns.
Oh, my goodness.
He's up a pawn now.
He's taking everything.
Yeah.
He's losing an important one, though.
Yeah, that one was needed.
Still, though, the A pawn is very dangerous here, and nobody's stopping anybody.
Oh, couldn't go queen over here and check. Sorry. King c2. Now, where do you go? White's up on time.
Nice
queen!
Job.
Oh, he was up on time. Take the knight.
Oh my goodness!
Queen
g7.
Oh, pawn. He doesn't get there in time. Oh, Jose!
I have anxiety watching the pre-moves come in from the tilt as well.
Oh no, he went a6 and he went bishop b5 check.
The
Pre-move.
Erigaisi pre-moves, like right after that, unfortunately were punished. And it's near the end of the game, those pre-moves, I just can never tell if they're actually like pre-moves or not, you know, because I think he is playing really fast.
Yeah, but he like got checked a few times, then he might have been pre-moving, then had to find a new one. Oh gosh. And
I think you have
win
to resign that game, honestly. You just like you're taking your own time away by playing on.
Yes. Wait, what is this?
Are we at critical mass here? Like I think it's time to start saying Erigaisi's got to win this game with this awful position.
This game here, you mean?
Yeah, he's got to win this game right here.
It's bullet chess, so he has chances. Okay, the king is
a bold move.
King is safely tucked away, one could say, and not mean. Black's doing all right here.
Yeah, bishop e3.
Opposite colored bishops. I mean,
right. It's still like I think pretty serious edge for white.
For sure. Oh, and
Here
such a
comes
good move.
b4 and bishop
Can't
d2.
Can't play c4. There was bishop d4 with the rooks on the diagonal. So
that's right. Oh, this is so dominant for bullet. It's almost like, you know, better than being up a piece. The eval's +5. It's even.
It's just winning.
How is this real? +5.
Well, now it's even. So
what?
Wait, how is this so winning?
Now it's +5 again.
But G3 was a bad move.
But what is this? What is this engine looking for from us?
Just expecting perfection and nothing less.
Nothing less. Now, as white, you're actually pretty interested in playing like the move G4 in general. So C4 here, right?
This pawn's hanging, but so is this pawn.
Everything is just what on earth?
Take this, take out check. G4. Okay, now we know it should be a draw.
Yeah, black just hangs the bishop. Oh,
wait, win on time.
Yeah. Yeah, the win on time is a very serious option here. However, he's found a nice square for the bishop on f3, so that should help.
Yeah, I was thinking
a6 and move the bishop. There you go.
But the problem is it's going to be a 50 move rule, right? Because no pawns have moved. So Arjun, if he try to win on the clock, he's not going to be able to because at some point 50 moves will happen. This is really funny. We're watching nothing happen.
Yeah, nothing happened. Also, the faster player is definitely Jacobson. So I still get the feeling that, if anyone's winning, it's him.
Oh my God. But you know what actually is kind of funny? Losing your bishop could have been a good thing. Like, you know, because you start the 50 move rule over again. So there couldn't have been a draw.
Right. Yeah. Let's say it's down to like 1 second, then that would actually be a blunder or something.
Yeah, to take the bishop.
But I really think this match has just come down to a difference in speed. Mainly for me. So I see that endgame. And remember, we watched about 40 moves of those bishops moving around and kings. And at the start of it, I think Martinez was down like 7 or 8 seconds. And he was the one who you felt always had the chance to flag. It's just the difference.
Yeah, he's just too fast and too strong. And right now, with just under 5 minutes remaining, it's a 5-point match. Yeah, this is over with. It's clear that Jose is going to stay afloat in this tournament, and for Arjun, his time in the Bullet Chess Championship will come to an end.
Yeah, this is still in the losers bracket, so great to try there, but even better awareness Jose Martinez takes, and unfortunately shot yourself in the foot there with rook d7.
Yeah, and Jose, he took the rook, shook his head, and was like, I don't know what's happening today, but I'm happy that I'm the one ahead on the scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you don't understand what's going on, but you're the one ahead, you're just kind of shaking your head in disbelief, like, I'll take it, but what in the heck is my...
Oh, gosh. And here's the F5 square. Looks pretty good for a knight. I mean, now you understand the +4, even though it's equal, right? Material?
Yeah. Now I get it. This one feels like a real, plus a million.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! And you try to trade rooks and go rook d8, knight g7. Like the rook has to stay on g8 because it's made on with knight g7.
Rook h8 now.
All right, so
he's just enjoying the position.
Yeah.
Now you try to bring the rook back to d1.
Yeah, to go for the mate.
Yeah, you sold me on the checkmate idea.
Oh, well, he's sold on winning this pawn on f6. Although
That's the thing, you know, winning this pawn it just doesn't impress me.
yeah, no, black actually is hanging in here.
More than even could be going for a lot more here.
Yeah, rook f2. If you can get this bishop in somehow, but I don't see any pathway.
I think there is like a long way to go about it, right? Rook somewhere, bishop f2, bishop e1.
Yeah, I guess. But what was rook g2? The f3 pawn was hanging there. And now you're down a pawn on the queen side.
Bishop e1. Yeah, there's
Oh,
rook g7 there. Tricky.
Tricky Jacobson. Now take on b5. Okay, we're free pawn.
He's trying, but it just feels like whatever Erigaisi's got, Jacobson's got the answer.
It's true. Oh, I didn't take on e5, which was a free pawn, and that's an important pawn. Oh, rook d6. But clock. It's all about the clock here.
It is, and you just get the feeling that no matter what, the guy who's ahead on the clock is going to win, and the guy who's ahead on the clock is usually Jacobson.
He's just the faster player. Although right now, things got a little. Oh, queen takes e5.
He's just too fast. He's too clutch in those moments.
Yeah, he understood the pre-moving and knew what was about to happen.
You just need to play at that point. The quality is not guaranteed and not necessary.
Nope, not at all. And what's happening here, well, it won't affect the match because it's already in the books. Jose, 7-point lead though. Jeez.
Yeah, amazing. Like, and again, just like I say sometimes in those matches where you get a scoreline that is kind of really, really out of hand, and it's like, oh, it felt like it should have been closer. It's a little unfair. I actually feel like this match really was pretty one-sided, actually.
And it started at 4-3 right before the break. 15 minutes in, we were saying, okay, you said a 2-point lead is much different than a tied match, and Jose won that game, and he hasn't stopped winning since.
Yeah, that's true. You never look back.
Oh gosh, this position again. I don't
want
to
look back at this. Momentum type of time control, right? Like get a few wins together, and your opponent starts to tilt, hangs a piece, pre-moves in the next one. Suddenly it's 3 in a row, and it just gets out of hand quickly.
Yeah, and it really did get out of hand. And this position also just looks horrendous for black.
Yeah, it looks really rough. Get that bishop out of the way and get a rook to c1, and it's pretty much over.
Here it comes. Okay, even bishop takes e7. There, it finally has happened.
It's about time for something to come crashing.
Oh my goodness, is d5?
Rook c6, d5, all the above.
Final answer.
And if this game ends in the next 10 seconds, I wonder if they're going to play another one.
No, come on.
Don't resign.
Wow, I mean, what a performance by Jose, though. Seriously.
Queen c8 he's looking for, and I think he realized
he lost his queen, and he was still better. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw Queen c8, and white was like totally fine.
Yeah. Oh,
rook e4
gosh.
and rook takes e4 doesn't really work. Queen f3.
Wow. Well, it's weird to even be talking about this. Is Jose going to win this game on time?
I think he will.
Unreal. Okay. Arjun still.
Queen c2. He finds it great.
Yeah, no. Now Arjun has this.
And it's all with checks.
And okay, so Arjun takes the final game. He can at least take some consolation in that fact, but he's gone from the tournament.
Yes, yeah, eliminated by Jacobson, who put together a nice performance. As you mentioned, I think the first half for Erigaisi was very close, very competitive, and the second half of this match just got away. That's what happens. As I said, it's a momentum, time control, and it's so easy in bullet to blink once and a couple blunders and mouse slips, and it's like a 5-point gap, and you're like, wait, I can barely even come back anymore.
Right. You start feeling that pressure when you lose a game. Like, I need to win the next one. And that doesn't really help you at all. But Jose Martinez, he helped himself to a wonderful match victory here. He is going to earn even more of the prize fund as he moves on to the losers quarterfinals. He'll await the loser of one of the matches that we have coming up, because after this break, we're going to have the winners bracket, the winner side of things. We are going to have Min and Andrew Tang square off. And of course, the end of the day today, you'll not want to miss Daniel Naroditsky and Hikaru Nakamura. So for now, we'll be back in just a few. This is the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. You will not want to miss what happens next.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Todd.
Deborah says you're working on a fancy app or something.
You know, hold on. Not really working on it yet. I just don't know which cloud service to go with.
Well, I've got a cousin on my Queens side that swears by DigitalOcean. Says they're easy to use, have straightforward pricing, and really focus on making developers happy.
DigitalOcean, huh? I'm gonna check them out.
What the hell? Dude, how are you doing that? I'm not.
It's Game 6, it's Day 6 for the 2021 FIDE World Chess Championship. What will the world champion do with his third chance with the white pieces?
He's not recalling. He's
studying.
He's studying.
I like that.
And that's important because Magnus caught him off guard. He's trying to figure out this position. And just because he didn't take the pawn and he didn't develop, doesn't mean that the rest of the game is easy for him.
Like, from the way he's acting, his body language, and the fact that he was playing very rapidly, and now he's stopping to think, it looks like knight c6 was a bit of a surprise, but I don't understand how it can be a surprise.
I don't know. The way he's played this game so far.
This really has been the most impressive game Jan has played.
Magnus moves the queen up. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. We have action in Game 6, not bishop b4.
What did they have in mind? It was bishop b4 was such a natural move. I'm kind of puzzled.
Jan is trying to keep this confusing for Magnus with these moves. Wait, what just happened? He played E4, knight F4. Oh, nice E5.
Oh, no, this could be trouble.
Jan is blowing this position here with no time now.
Well, like queen b4, it worked.
Look, knight e4. Because if you take the knight, you lose the bishop.
Magnus Carlsen has reached time control. Jan Nepomniachtchi has one more move to make or he loses on time.
Queen b3.
Oh my gosh.
Jan is defending this endgame.
Jan is defending this endgame incredibly well. I think that this is, frankly, if Jan holds this, it might be as telling in regards to what we'll be talking about in the World Championship as anything else, because this is the test. We have broken history here in the 2021 World Chess Championship because the move rook to d2 officially makes this game the longest game in World Chess Championship history.
Black has to be careful.
This is going to be so hard for Jan to hold because he's just going to keep pushing this.
I think that's just winning because you can no longer check that king anymore.
I expect Jan Nepomniachtchi to throw in the towel in this position.
That's the way it is. As I said, it shouldn't be easy in a World Championship match. You have to try for every chance, no matter how small it is.
Would you like to work as an esports producer for the #1 chess site in the world? Chess.com is looking for a top-notch producer to join our talented and passionate team. Work remotely, producing live streams of the biggest chess events just like this one, and help shape the landscape of online chess entertainment. Go to chess.com/jobs now to learn more about this opportunity. And right now, these 4 players have an opportunity to make their way to the winners finals. We're going to start with Min and Andrew. And Aman, you have a lot of experience playing both of these players. Who you got?
Yeah, this is we're getting into the winners bracket here. Robert, very exciting stuff. Grandmaster Andrew Tang against only international master Min Lei. It's just crazy to keep saying that, but every player in this tournament knows that he is GM strength, especially when it comes to blitz and bullet. I have to say it'd be hard not to have Tang as the favorite, but the way that Min Lei has been playing lately, I feel like his rating has been getting higher and higher, which is crazy. You find him 3,200 regularly on chess.com, and look at the volume of games. Min is just playing blitz and bullet all the time. Like, it's hard to find someone more experienced than this guy in the entire competition. And that goes for something, Andrew is not as regularly playing. And I think when it comes to those small moments that might separate these top players, Robert, like the end of the game, those scrambles, I think the experience and how comfortable you are with the mouse, especially lately, plays a big role.
Yeah, I mean, Min, as you said, the fact that it says IM next to his name, we all just shrugged it off. It's like, yeah, we know how good Min is. He is a super IM. He is a GM and everything but the title at the moment. But as I look at the insights here, there's number of games played. We know both these players stream a lot. They have a big presence in the chess community. But Min with 6,000 games of bullet. And then I look, something you mentioned earlier, look at the percentage of games he loses by flag. Like, that's actually quite a lot.
It is, yeah, reminiscent of Bortnick. I feel like Min is also one of those players that might be a little slower for the game overall. But then, it's almost like the Energizer Bunny jolt kicks in when he's like got 5 seconds, and all of a sudden he speeds up like crazy. But a lot of these games will be decided in those scrambles, whether it's on the clock or just better pre-moves, better awareness, understanding when to go for a dirty move. And I think anyone who's got as much experience as Min is definitely got to be favored in that category.
Yeah, and let's hear what the community has to say. Do place your vote in the chat right now. We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think it will be Andrew? Will it be Min? Who is going to make their way through to the winners finals? I'm not sure. I mean, this is the matchup of the day that I'm having the hardest time predicting as the games are taking place. Look at their ratings. They're actually quite similar. I will give the slight nod to Tang, though.
Yeah, it's hard not to. He's got the pedigree that's earned it, but certainly agree. Like this one, I think is shaping up to be the most 50-50 match, whether you're looking at ratings or past results.
You know what I can say with a high degree of certainty? First of all, Black is about to win a piece. But second, that they're going to be a lot of London in this match.
Right. Yeah. These are two players that, system players. And in Bullet, knowing your first 20 moves almost mapped out is a pretty scary proposition for your opponent.
Well, this is also a scary proposition. Knight takes f6 check. This queen on c5 being loose. The queen trying to go to the d7 square once the knight lands on f6. Min is spending way too much time, and his king is in danger.
And this is sort of what I was saying is that, Min often you'll see him just down way too much time in positions like this for no reason. And this, even if this gets to an end game, you're down 10, 15 seconds against Andrew Tang, you're most likely going to lose.
That's right. And sometimes it's not about the position, even though we try to be as objective as possible. Sometimes you just have to play that speed. Just do not castle kingside if you're white. That's something to avoid.
B4. There was queen a5 there. B4 wasn't possible.
Okay. And this is what the problem is. Min is pre-moving earlier, but look at the clock. He's actually getting closer.
Yep. The thing is, a queen trade here doesn't actually help. Oh, that's a great move.
Oh, queen e3, and now all of a sudden, bishop g3. Bishop g3,
yeah,
rook e1, mate.
Oh my god. That's the one thing you can't allow, because he just started dropping pawns. He took like 4 or 5 pawns from Min, and then right at the end, he started dropping them left, right, and center. Pretty impressive start for Min, like, especially considering he did exactly what I was concerned about, which is use a lot of time in the opening phase of the game.
That's right. And the fans, they actually think Min is the favorite. 66% of people said that Min. The other 34% said Tang. So it's going to be a close match, that's for sure. But so far, Min off to a good start. And in this game, he actually slightly ahead on the clock. And I love his bishop on b3.
Yeah, bishop on b3 makes a good impression. But hey, likewise, bishop on c5. Both of those pieces pressuring the important squares, f2 and f7. So it's all about who can, take it, basically who can add more firepower as well, because the bishops are great, but they need other pieces to attack as well.
Yeah, rook d1, there's c5, that wouldn't win a piece. F6, if queen f6, queen d4 doesn't work, knight f3 checks. So queen takes f6 is actually a free pawn. Unless there's f4 after queen f6, so the rook was loose on e8. What a weird position.
That's a wild position, but I think it might work like that. There's also bishop c2 if g takes f6 to consider.
Oh, you are just a mean man.
F4, bishop c2. This is just a tricky position.
Oh, queen b6, f e5, and there's queen g6 check.
Queen g6.
Yes, and you take on f6 with check, and you win the rook. Or you go for checkmate.
You can take literally all those pawns if you want.
Oh, and Min off to a 2-0 lead. I guess he didn't like being the underdog from our perspective, but the fans, they knew what was up with Min.
Exactly. Now, okay, I was going to say, he's just going to take with a G-pawn this time, Robert. Not allow e5, e4 like last time.
But this still looks terrible for white. Like, I don't understand the opening.
Yeah, it's not good. And if he plays it the whole match, I would be very surprised. I think, minimum, it's going to get switched at the break, but probably even before then.
Right, once he learns exactly how he should play against Min's setup, because right now, this bishop on g3 is useless. The bishop on g7 is awesome. And Black has all of the activity with a better pawn structure.
Listen, I'm sold, Robert. You don't have to convince me more than that.
I'm just looking at this pawn on g3, and I'm just not liking what I'm seeing.
Right. Well, double H pawns now. Bishop h4. Oh, bishop g1. Good lord.
Oh, goodness. And this E3 pawn is a target. It feels like
Black
there
has this, kind of repetition almost that I think White would be happy to take.
And Queen
Ooh,
E2,
tricky.
Knight E2. The E3 pawn is so vulnerable, it feels like.
Yeah, Knight E4, but
Knight E2.
yeah, that's an important one to watch out for. Knight D4, but I think Black is playing maybe Rook C8, Knight B6.
You like that pawn on F2?
Oh, it's actually doing the most important thing on the board at the moment.
Oh, a Knight D2 forcing a rook trade, and the knight gets into F3. White just has no moves.
Now,
This is a masterclass by Min.
Okay. Yeah, this is. Ooh, he even takes that way. Yeah, this is a crush. Yeah, he's gonna resign that. Wow, that was very one-sided. It felt like Andrew. So far from what we've seen in this match, he's got a lot of work to do. Number one in the match in general. Hey, he's down 3 games to start off, but also with the white pieces. I feel like his openings with white, and you called it out, need to be improved. Stat.
Yeah, because what he's playing is just giving Black an advantage, and quite an obvious one at that. So right now with the black pieces, Andrew, he's very solid right now. Min going for a king set attack, but you can't only attack with your queen, and that bishop on b1 looks good, but the knight on f8 covers most of the squares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this knight on f8, the knight f8, there is no mate, and it always seems to hold true. The knight just sits there, and this queen e4 is always neutralized.
That's right. Now you have to watch out because the queen was in the bishop's diagonal. And is he making a draw here? And Min says no.
Hey, if you're Andrew, get on the board,
Well, unfortunately,
half point.
Oh, goodness. I'm on. Queen takes 8. It's a free piece.
There's nothing here.
No.
Amazing. Yeah, he's just going to bring that queen back to e4, pressure g6, somehow h4 or knight h4.
Unbelievable. Min is just in great form right now.
Yeah, he's cruise control at the moment. The knight on h5, by the way, is just trapped. Yeah, so there's g4 to take that one. And Tang, he's got that, like despondent look. Like it, sometimes when you're playing Bullet, you almost have like an out of body experience. You just start to your eyes glaze over, and you're like, you're on autopilot for real.
Yeah, you can barely see, and you just Min. You don't want to allow Andrew back in this match.
But he knows this. Min will not be bishop c7.
Here, knight e6.
Yeah,
it's over.
The queen. So he knows about this, and he won't be happy to have allowed this. Like Andrew is basically getting a kind of a free game here from a trap perspective.
Mm-hmm. That's just too easy for Andrew. And Min, he looked very annoyed with himself. He's twirling his hair as per usual. But that's just not a tactic you want to allow because you're up 4-0. You don't want to give your opponent any confidence whatsoever.
Yeah, and he's also getting the open e-file. Everything is going wrong here. You can resign that game, and he does.
Mm-hmm. What? Okay.
This is e5 followed by d5, which is a very, very rare, dare I even call it a line.
I mean, Eric Rosen would call it a line, so I guess we're supposed to as well. But these gambits that Eric Rosen is teaching people, even as strong as Andrew Tang.
Yeah, I mean, high nose to that.
Yeah, look at this. Your White's up 2 pawns, safe for king. All the pieces are active.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So instead, he sort of trades in one of his pawns for a queen exchange and mass liquidation. So Min is definitely still very comfortably in the lead.
Yeah. I mean, it says, what does it say? Plus 3 plus? I mean, it's moving very quickly, but it was only 1 extra pawn.
Okay, G7 is hanging.
Takes C7 instead, but F2 now is a problem.
Yep.
Oh,
Rook E1 looks like a great move, though.
It's a very confusing position at this point. Black has these outside pass pawns, and oh my goodness, are you serious? B4, B3 is coming.
Yep. Black's got 2 B pawns against White's 3 connected pass pawns on the other side of the board.
Time to push. Just go G4.
And the engine, of course, has a dead even, Robert. Obviously, it's a draw.
Hey, no doubt about it. Who would have thought? Wait, knight takes C2. No, he tricked him. Why would you take that?
Yeah, he definitely didn't need to do anything there.
So white has these pawns here, and 2 knights against a king we know should be a draw, but you'll get flagged. And look at the clock.
But there's a bunch of pawns on the board.
And king c2, just go for this. Nice. F4.
Oh, white wins this, though.
White wins. G5, G. Oh, wrong pawn.
Why that pawn?
You wanted to not lose instead of win.
Man, that's a really unfortunate. I was just working out the line in my head, but yeah, once the pawn gets to G6, it's just unstoppable.
Yeah, then the white king just takes the B pawn and runs to the other side of the board. It's a very straightforward win. All right, Min played A6, which is one of those moves where even if it's not the 100% precise variation, which it is a good line now, you just play to avoid knight B5 ever happening to you again.
Right. Yeah, he learned his lesson from that one game.
And I like Andrew's position right now.
Yeah, the thing is, you have achieved something, which is always nice. Your opponent's played, in this case, pawns on like B4 and D4, and you have a pawn on B6. So you're permanently covering the C5 square.
That's true. But as soon as a C4 move happens, then here it comes. The bishop opens up, in particular for the C6 square.
C5 and B6.
Yeah. Oh, it takes some D5 instead. This is also good.
Yeah, I think this really helps black, though, just with the opposite bishops. Like, there's just always going to be way more chances. Bishop D4, C5.
Yeah.
Really good for white still.
But you're right. The bishop on C5. Oh my gosh.
That's everything in the position.
However, one move.
Yeah, there's not even bishop F2, bishop F7, because you just go king H8.
Right. That would be a nice try for a little back rank checkmate. But oh my gosh. G3 was the single worst move on the board.
It was the worst move on. It's comparable to literally hanging your queen in one move.
Yeah, no, it went from plus like 2 or whatever to minus 10 on the spot.
Yep, and that's a serious comeback because that position was trending. I mean, you take a point away from Min, you give it to Andrew, 4.5, 2.5. It's a way different match. It's wide open, especially as we're coming up in 1 or 2 more games to the halfway point. We've actually gotten a much higher volume, Robert, in this match of games because, I mean, Min has just been winning some games so quickly.
Yeah, he's really been playing very well thus far. Right now, Andrew's position, this is one of the better positions he's had, even material, but he's more active. And the bishop on B1 is defending E4, but here comes the bishop to A6.
Yeah, if black can trade bishop for knight, he's going to be very, very happy.
That's true. Okay, well, now this bishop on B1 is just awful.
Ooh, I think that he kind of got a pre-move in there when the move F5 was played. Otherwise, I think he may have considered taking it.
Yeah, he probably should have.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, and we're seeing some quick resigns. So the pace of this match is higher than any we've seen before. It's already been 8 games.
But what was knight B6?
Total hallucination. And, he resigned immediately after he knew.
Yeah, he's like, forgot that the 984 can move backwards there. But this line, I never understand it. I've seen so many people play it. It is black is down a piece, but with the obviously safer king, and now white's like winning. I guess we're winning all of a sudden. Yeah. You make one imprecise move, you're down a full piece, and you have no chance. I mean, now you're winning a second piece.
Resign. Yeah. What is this line? And again, we're probably going to see a resignation right here. And the pace continues to go. We'll see another game potentially. Oh, my goodness.
Gosh. Just take everything.
He's already dead.
Oh, don't blunder checkmate.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of easy to miss. You're taking everything, moving your pieces. Okay,
I would play rook c6. I gotta get that thing the hell off the board.
Yeah, rook takes c6 is automatic.
And then you even have bishop h7.
He went rook c2 to e2. Queen b3. Trade those queens.
Yeah, it's winning. It's splitting hairs here in terms of how you want to convert this. But I always am going to be in favor of like mass simplification of material rather than trying to keep everything.
I'm with you, partner. I mean, look at the position. You're up a rook. So queens off the board makes your life easier. Mm-hmm. And all right, white has plenty of time. So it should be.
Okay, well, there's some material. Why isn't he taking it, by the way?
He just didn't feel like it, I guess.
But I mean, to me, this is 12 seconds against 12 seconds. You're even up on time, maybe by a second. This is amazing progress for Black.
Queen F3. Okay, it was Rook G8 probably needed to get passive for a second here, but if you can trade queens, you have okay.
I mean, you have a shot here.
Just take on F4. Is there a stalemate somewhere? That'd be crazy. Rook E6. Rook E6. Oh gosh, that's not stalemate.
It's a nice try, and
yeah,
Andrew's gonna end up winning. But for being up what he was up, that was not how you were supposed to win it. I think they'll abort this one.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
And that means that Andrew cut the deficit from 4 to 2. And we've seen this spread just before. Jacobson, he had a 2-point lead over Erigaisi at the break. So Tang, he at least can feel like he's back in this thing and needs to change those wide openings.
Yeah, completely agree. I think that obviously Min is going to be satisfied with how the match has gone. What an amazing start, and he's earned all these victories. However, it started to go downhill when he hung that piece for nothing. We watched it, knight b6, and that's going to haunt him a little bit because the momentum went in Tang's favor, and then immediately more opening disaster and pieces hung by Min. In this game we just saw, and the lead is now only 2. So Andrew, momentum-wise, is feeling great going into the break. We'll see if he switches anything up.
We'll see indeed. But right now we're going to take that quick break. When we return to the second half of this match in the winner's bracket between Min and Andrew. This is the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. And we are in the middle of this match of the winner's semifinals in this double elimination format of the Bullet Chess Championship. Amon, it's a 2-point lead for Min. Andrew Tang did just strike back. A couple games under his belt right now. And he did switch his opening with the white pieces. We were very critical at the start because he blundered a piece in the first game. That wasn't good. The second time around, yeah, he took with his pawn, but his bishop became a pawn as well. And he has at least adapted to these circumstances, but it has felt like Min has had the upper hand and the better strength thus far.
Absolutely. I think Tang, I don't know if this is maybe a thing in general. I can speak to it with a lot of strong bullet players, is that sometimes they're just slow to get going. There are the bullet players that just get out of the gate, they're flying, they're scoring well, they have their form immediately. And a lot of players take a bit more time to get going. As we saw in the Jacobson match, the second half of the match, he absolutely dominated. So we'll see maybe if Andrew is just, starting off a little slow, a little shaky, because we're into the second half of the match right now. And I think the first couple of games, Robert, are going to be super important to let us know where the momentum is at between the players.
I feel that. And right now, this position, it's just a very closed one. But look at that pawn on c7. You need a strike with c5, and that's the hope. But after queen a3 here, queen b4, that knight on c5 is in a little bit of a pin.
And bishop on b7 can never be too happy. You got that pawn directly in front of you, and white is putting together what could be a very, very strong positional performance.
And there was a missed tactic. Knight takes f2 with the first knight, when knight e4 check with the second was available when the queens were staring at each other on the diagonal.
Yes.
But right now, this is all Min. I mean, the domination of his pieces, it's just clear that white is better.
Yep, no question about it. Black is, can still win on time, absolutely. But white is in complete control. Knight d7 will be played, though, to simplify.
And this bishop on c8 is going to be a passive piece. And maybe once the knights get traded, there still could just be a draw. But Min wants his king in the center.
Yep. I'm not sure I like the move e4, actually. But
now black,
c5 is making me like it.
Yeah, black can hardly move. Bishop b7 was available. He's just closing down everything. Oh,
There's
my
nothing
goodness.
to play.
So
Take the knight?
Yeah, and then bishop b7 or now king up to c5.
Yeah, this is not
bishop c6 instead of bishop to d5.
And it was purely just like complete Zugzwang.
Yeah, that was a big missed opportunity for Min there. Oh, bishop c8.
Bishop c8.
Mm-hmm.
He can try to maybe get it again. Black's now going for the potential win as well, and I don't blame him.
Black's up on time. No, I think Andrew's going to take this one.
The problem is, though, that you can't let that king invade. King e6 and king b6, I think it's a little too much with like 8 seconds on the clock for someone as strong as, the caliber we've got in this match. I think you really risk losing.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you think wiser of it, Okay, we have this position again, by the way. Oh, wait, this is even worse. Because bishop d7, there was c6.
Yep. This is I think that's more or less a known kind of trap in the opening. I'd be playing b5. Yeah, cement that protected pass pawn, a4.
I think Min needs to work on this line.
Yeah, but we've been critical of as much as possible. And hey, we talked about Andrew's openings with white. They've definitely improved. Min, on the other hand, needs to workshop this one.
Yeah, he just may need to stop playing the line altogether. It's bullet chess. It looks very risky for black. Now white's up. White's not up a pawn anymore, but it feels like this knight is hanging out. This rook's under attack.
No, that's not it. I think why is he not taking the rook? Okay. Little confusing there.
Yeah, drop the h7 pawn. Didn't take a rook, and now f4 is a great move.
That's a real classy move. Just understanding that disturbing that pawn chain from black is the win condition. That pawn is takeable on d3, by the way.
Oh, taking off 6 with check.
Oh, literally every pawn. Queen h6. Yeah, it's just a massacre.
That really turned fast. The opening was terrible for Min. Then he was right back in the game, and then h7 fell out of nowhere.
Yeah, I really think that if Min is not careful, momentum could start to shift away from him. That opening could keep coming back to haunt him. And Andrew, it does feel, the way I see the match, it feels like he's sort of heating up. He's getting more confident faster. And he's starting to put together that resilience that's needed, even in that bad endgame that we just saw him in.
I must say, though, these positions that Min keeps getting against the isolated pawn, it's really in his style. And so just no fun to play them. But look at this. White's pieces are so active here. And you don't have an isolated pawn anymore, but white controls all the squares in front of black's pawns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he might try to put that bishop on e8 and just kind of sit there in the position and say, look, I'm defending my pawn with the bishop. There's no way you can attack it.
Knight b3, hitting the rook and then hitting the pawn.
Okay. Yeah, that was needed. Now the pawn on b4 is just as weak, if not weaker, than the pawn on c6.
I'm with you. And just mass simplification where the bishop on d7 may be a bit passive, but it defends the pawn that is remaining on the queen side.
Yeah, I think this has... Whoa, hang on a sec.
There's rook c1. I think just winning that bishop.
Just simple with the rook pins from d6 to b6.
Mm-hmm.
So some chances, but generally to trade that isolated pawn for your b pawn and give black this pass pawn, I'm not sure I love it.
I'm not sure I love it either. And the rook between g6, great recognition by Andrew to go play on the king side. And now here comes the king right back. Min has been playing very quickly, though. He was down a few seconds. Now he's about leveling the clock.
This is a very, very even
king
as well.
4, take on G4, bishop, rook check on. Oh, there's rook B7.
Why was rook B7? Oh, rook B7, bishop D7. Barely stay in the match, but yeah, it still should have been played.
And
now, are we going to see a draw here, or is someone going to win, Robert?
I mean, if someone so far, let's say Andrew, because he's playing more quickly, but this is Andrew's game. Oh, what a move, rook G5 though.
He's doing the right things though. I think Black wins this game.
Yes,
probably very easily, easier than someone might guess, because you can just recycle these moves every time you move the pawn.
And he wins, and now it's an even match. Andrew Tang. That guy was down 4 points, and now it's tied.
You're right. That was 5.5 to 1.5. If you guys can remember, back when that was the score. And would you believe that we'd be at 6-6 with Andrew playing for the potential to take the lead?
Oh, and look, rook A3 this time, bishop A4. That's how the line is supposed to go. But look at this. This pawn was 1 square away from promotion. This is mayhem.
I don't know what the heck this line is. If anyone in chat can help me out, I'll be taking offers. Anyone wants to provide me the analysis?
Okay, so something is happening here. What it is, it ain't exactly clear. I don't know.
E5 makes sense, but I feel like the moves that are correct don't make sense in this line.
Yeah, now if bishop takes, and you hit the queen, you hit H7, and that would just be winning for white.
Yeah, this is way too strong.
And knight H4. Oh,
bishop E8 needed, but this has got to be too much.
Even knight F5, knight takes D4. Oh, some chances here.
Hey, that was impressive to get something out of nothing there. Rook takes A2 can be played? Question mark?
Maybe exclamation point.
I'll let you punctuate that one, Robert.
Yeah. There was queen H3 check and queen H7 check, like trading off the queens and then winning the rook. That was okay, but I only saw like 4 moves after when I thought about it. So who's better here?
I have no idea, but I mean, white, you'd have to think should be.
Well, white was better until he just gave up the H pawn.
Although still, it looks solid enough for white. What the heck is that?
There was a mate on H5. The queen took. That's why I took the rook, and
because the bishop on F3 is really so solid, and the king is kind of running around. White needs the rook active.
Yeah, Min is taking way too much time. King D6. You got to go somewhere.
There we go. Finally, white's rook gets active. I think this spells the end for black.
Oh, missed rook C7 check.
My goodness. Rook C7 again. Needs to be played.
Like king goes back to the G5. Oh.
Yeah, I think white just realized there that he had to get the queens off. Didn't want
and you see
threats.
Min just takes on G3 just trying to avoid pre-moves, but he's going to lose this game.
That is going to be a loss. And Andrew, I mean, I don't think it's all been in a row because they did have that draw, but Min needs like a total rebirth in this match because he has gone from 5.5, 1.5 to now 7-6 for Andrew.
And earlier we played the replay from the puzzle solving championship when he was facing off against Christopher Yu, and you could see him like slapping his head. Like, what am I doing? He needs to. It's very hard to calm down when you're playing bullet. It's not really helpful advice, but he needs to somehow be able to just be like, all right, it's only a 1-point deficit.
Sorry, are you saying he needs to slap himself in the head, Robert? Just to be clear.
I'm not advising any sort of self-harm. I think that I just want him to do what's best for himself.
Right. Everyone has their thing that kind of gets them going, whether it's like cursing at themselves or just saying what a bad player you are. Everyone has their way of like, sort of self-deprecation. Sometimes it helps them get their head straight.
And well, right now he's even on the board, but he's down a few seconds, and the knight can often outclass a bishop, especially when pawns are on the same side of the board like this.
I think we'll see, like, most likely that the B pawn and the A pawn sort of trade off for one another, although that's certainly helpful there.
Although this G7 pawn is going to be probably pretty easy to target.
Yeah, bishop's going to get to E5.
Like rook takes G7 was available, then bishop E5.
That's right. Yeah. Knight F5 though.
He wants bishop E5 again, like right now. Oh, rook D5 was nice actually.
And the piece is jumping around everywhere. Bishop D2.
Okay. Black somehow has defended this pawn.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Rook takes B4.
Yes,
and rook
nice.
F4 check if rook E3.
Oh, and he fell right into it.
Yeah. You think you're the one pulling a fast one, and then the fast one gets pulled on you.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Andrew because Min needs this game. Min, what are you doing? Okay, king f5. King e5 is also good.
He's playing it honestly really well. F4 and king g6, that type of thing.
Yeah, you need knight h8 as your only.
Oh,
knight c6! Knight c6!
Those knights are so tricky.
Take it! Okay, he got this. Wow,
Now
what a
he's got
ridiculous game. Okay, but it still feels like Min. I mean, obviously he's going to win the game, but it feels like he's moving a bit slowly.
Technique is a little shaky. That's not good technique.
No, that wasn't at all.
Whew, okay, well, hey, listen, I think when the match has gone the way it has, if you're Min, you don't care one bit how you get that win, Robert. That is huge for the mental and huge for the match, bringing it back to 7-7, not letting it get away in the final 4 minutes.
For sure. And we're once again seeing a London system, and Min makes sure the knight didn't ever get to b5, and looks very solid for black right now.
Yeah, this is an ideal opening for black. However, if you're Andrew, what more are you expecting from the London, right? This is also exactly what he's probably looking for as well.
It's true. It's about the comfort levels, and Andrew seems to be right at home every time he plays in London. Oh, the e4 square is now black's for the taking. By the way, just under 3.5 minutes remaining in this match. It is tied 7-all. We'll have time for a couple more games here, but both players undoubtedly are nervous.
No doubt. No doubt.
Bishop f5, bishop c2 can be played, but the bishop doesn't actually do anything there. Oh, h6 is hanging.
Yeah, h6 is hanging. Now h3 is hanging. I think this is going to start to favor white. That pawn on c4 looks weak, and the pawn on d4 is now protected pass pawn. I know it's not that far off the board.
But it's a good point. Pawn chains. Oh. I think black had an e3 move that he missed. Oh, gosh. But he actually gets even better right now.
Yeah, knight g5 is nasty.
Queen
How do you deal with this?
Queen h1 wins a piece.
Queen h1 is gross. That wins the knight clean.
There it goes. And he's also up on time. Min is playing so fast in this game.
Yeah.
Rook takes d7.
You can go rook d7. Knight e5, some insurance there.
Oh, gosh. Ooh, collecting everything.
He's got everything. He's got the time, but, you know.
Okay, and that was a really smart resignation. Of course, he was completely lost, but look at the match clock. 2 minutes, just under 10 seconds. That means if Andrew draws this game, he still should have time for one more.
That's right. That's right. So it's really nice to have that in your back pocket that, hey, you've got the white pieces available to you next game. If the position's not working out here, you don't have to force it. That's way different from having to play for your life. And are we going to see knight f2 again?
Knight f2. Oh gosh, it's off their radar completely.
Yeah, Robert, you and I are just tactical geniuses. How did we see that?
We saw that so quickly. I mean, come on. Oh my gosh, what just happened?
No.
Wait, Min was like much better, and then he just dropped his f2 pawn.
Queen on b2, just totally forgot the lateral movement over to f2. That knight is pinned on e4 though, by the way. The g3 pawn can't be taken with check.
That's the good news. And knight g5 check was a threat with that queen hanging down there on f2. That's what queen takes g3 is played.
Watch for ideas like bishop h3 in general. They're not going to quite work because that knight's pinned, but I know Andrew is probably thinking about it.
What? White's kind of stabilizing. Can you take on e4 now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you lost e3, but no, did you take on g4?
It's starting to get out of hand though, because the rooks are losing coordination.
And queen c1 wins the piece, and that's
very nice. And we're gonna see just a finale game. It looks like it's gonna be 8-8.
Wow. And I mean, I don't know if the players are aware of the match clock right now.
Yeah, this is it. Now, technically it looks like the match clock could expire.
And
Queen f4 next.
If it does expire, it just goes to more games where they alternate colors until someone wins. So
they're gonna get one more game no matter what here.
Yeah, Min probably is losing on time because he's looking at the match clock, trying to regroup internally here. But this is for the match. One game remaining, Aman. I'm excited.
And it could be a draw, and we will still go into tie breaks, but obviously this could get decided right here, right now. Andrew has been doing really well in these white positions.
Oh boy. I think it's already winning for white. You lose a piece.
Oh my god. Wait, no, bishop e7?
Yeah, bishop e7, f5. No way.
I just don't believe it.
I don't believe in any of this. Just take.
Oh, maybe there you had knight d5. And knight c7?
Oh, that
hang
also
on.
was.
I can't even count the pieces right.
The knight's just pinned.
Yeah, this is way better. Just keep the queen on the board. Look at black's position. What's Min doing?
He just hit himself in the head. That was a
Oh
pop.
no. His king's on g6. He's got 2 pieces developed. White's fully mobilized and ready to checkmate.
Yeah, no, this is already done. I mean, queen e8 check was probably an option. Okay, look at this defense though. King h5, queen bishop e2,
Goodness.
queen takes e2, and king takes g5. You have to.
You have to. Mandatory.
And you can't take here g.
No.
Mate.
This is it's mate in 1 and the match clock's done. And that is your match right there, guys. As wow, Tang knows it. I mean, he can literally pre-move queen h3 checkmate.
Yeah, no, it's over. And I don't even know where he went off camera there, but
was that an equivalent of a mic drop? Like he just pre-moved queen h3 mate and left the room.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need to be here for the end of this game. It's not even a single check.
True.
Queen h3 is over. But what a comeback from Andrew Tang. He was down 4 points in the first half. He cut it to 2 at the halftime break. And then he was down by 1 point with just 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. And he comes out on top.
Because the story was writing itself for both sides. Like, I was so impressed that Min dealt with that insane comeback by Andrew and then still put himself, as you said, 1 game up with 2 minutes left. He had everything to play for, and all of a sudden blunder that f2 pawn and the entire game. And then this last game, it's almost like the adrenaline. He's just playing so quick in the opening. He took the wrong pawn, boom, almost an opening trap. And his king ended up, literally on the 5th and 4th rank, 10 moves into the game. You're not going to survive against a player like Andrew.
The good news is, even though he lost 1 match, he's still in the competition. This is a double elimination format. So Min will still be here. He has a shot to win a few more matches and try to make his way back towards the top. But for now, there's only one thing we can say, and it's just a couple of people's names. It's Hikaru Nakamura, Daniel Naroditsky. That is coming up after the break. So stay tuned for the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean, because you will not want to miss that epic clash.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Todd.
Deborah says you're working on a fancy app or something?
Hold on. Not really working on it yet. I just don't know which cloud service to go with.
Well, I've got a cousin on my queen side that swears by DigitalOcean. Says they're easy to use, have straightforward pricing, and really focus on making developers happy.
DigitalOcean, huh? I'm gonna check them out.
What the hell? Dude, how are you doing that? I'm not.
play chess online or learn how to improve? Join us at the #1 chess destination in the world, chess.com. With hundreds of thousands of people playing at any moment, you'll quickly find a game with someone at your level, whether you're a total beginner or a grandmaster. You can play games at any pace against friends, other members, or one of our many computer personalities. Chess.com makes improving fun and easy. Sharpen your game with tactics puzzles and enhance your strategy with our videos and lessons by top masters. Learn from your own games with Chess.com's easy-to-use analysis tool. Regardless of your skill level, Chess.com has all you need to take your game to the next level. Chess.com is your go-to source for chess news, live coverage of tournaments, events, and everything in between. Experience Chess.com anytime and anywhere, whether you're at home on your computer or on the go with our mobile apps. Signing up is free and easy, so what are you waiting for? Join Chess.com today.
For it is Hikaru Nakamura, it is Daniel Naroditsky, it is the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. Aman, it's the heavyweight matchup that everybody has had their eyes on, Hikaru versus Danya.
And it's the heavyweight matchup, which not only we're going to appreciate once, but it could actually happen twice. Because these guys have 2 lives in this event. You see there, look at those insights. In terms of activity, I give the nod to Daniel Naroditsky with 5,200 games, but obviously Hikaru is coming into this competition, according to chess.com insights, with the highest accuracy of anybody. And I don't think that's surprising. I think one of the more interesting things for me, Robert, is that Hikaru just doesn't get to the end of the game very often. He beats the hell out of you in the middle game. So he doesn't have a lot of losses by flag. He doesn't have a lot of wins either. He just doesn't, his games don't make it that far.
That's right. But Daniel Naroditsky, he is super resourceful and his games do get down to the wire and he actually wins plenty of his games. About a third of those wins are by time. So it makes it a great matchup. Hikaru has to be the favorite. Anytime Hikaru is playing, you know that he's one of the top participants. But Daniel Naroditsky, I mean, with all of that experience, what kind of shot do you give him?
I mean, in terms of the, percentage overall, I think it's got to be something like, 20%, maybe like 80-20, something like that. At the most, maybe. Like Hikaru is just so established in this format and he's just got the pedigree that 20% is probably even too high.
Okay, well, let's see what the chat thinks. Community, do get involved right now by typing who you think will win this matchup. I'm guessing Hikaru will be the heavy favorite, but some Daniel Naroditsky fans out there will give him a shot. And right now, we are just, I mean, look at this. We're speeding through the opening stage. It's a kind of a hedgehog shot. I was trying to think of the name, but I couldn't do it quickly enough because they're moving so fast.
Yeah, I mean, the structure is changing by the time you can think about what it's called.
And well, look at Hikaru gaining space on the queen side and Danya saying, well, I don't really need space. My bishop on e4 is particularly happy.
Yeah, now after queen b7, though, you're saying how happy the bishop is. It's not happy after f3, and no matter where it tries to go, even g4 after bishop f5 would trap it. So that's why you see g5 played.
That's right. So where to from here for Hikaru? Because he has a very strong position. His pawn structure is just one pawn island here. But how to actually turn into more? And that was a bad move.
And do you actually notice the point when Hikaru starts to get up on time? He's up like 10 seconds, more than 10 seconds. And I just don't know where it came from.
It's something that we're going to have to live with. And if you're down there, Naroditsky, you also will have to do the same. But yeah, no, I didn't really notice exactly that moment when he obtained the lead on the clock. Uh-oh.
Just happens, as many things do. And f4, there's no mate.
Knight g5. There was knight g5. Because the bishop would have had it taken. There was mate on g7.
Yep. Queen h6 mate.
Queen h6 mate. There it is. And you see Danya, he winces. He's like, oh, I didn't think I really had that, but I was trying my best.
First blood to Hikaru in the match. It's starting 1-0, and Hikaru's doing that thing that sometimes players do when they're tilted, where you just run the h-pawn up the board against the fianchetto. But when he does it, somehow it works a lot better.
That's true. And I'm shocked by this. It's not about the moves that are being played, but Aman, apparently the poll results, 59% of people said Danya. I think that's just favoritism from their favorite content creator and not objectivity.
Hey, it's nice to have the support there, though. Obviously, both of these players have a ton of fans. And hang on. That's an important pawn. Very important pawn, actually.
Yeah, and f5 is already a big threat because the rook on e8 was not defended. And he still goes for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say even still, like you almost can play queen takes f5 here. You know?
What was rook g2? What is this?
He wants takes and bishop f6 for mate, but there's rook g4.
Yeah, that was a very strange move. He could have taken a rook on e8. He didn't go for that. He doubled his rooks on a file that's clogged.
Takes and queen f5.
Okay, so he does get the pawn. Knight.
The rook on c8's hanging. There's a lot of pieces hanging in this position. This is getting very dicey. Oh, that he just missed it. Surely.
Okay, so if you take on a3, there's at least a draw for black. So Diamond brings the bishop back to d3. That's a great move.
That looks very good.
Rook g3 was not it. Oh, that was not it either. It's happening too fast.
Yeah, I can not keep
oh
up
my gosh,
with the quality here.
That pawn. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, and it could have made a draw, but he goes rook e1 because he wants the mate.
He wants the mate, of course.
Actually, black has nothing to do here.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a move even.
Wait. Oh my gosh, king d3, queen b5 was mate.
Unbelievable.
But Danya is too fast.
He's
so
too
that's
fast.
He had the lead on the clock, and that's why he just ran his king away. The objective evaluation was not so important.
Listen, if this match goes to somebody losing on the clock every single time, I think that favors Danya. We already saw the statistics. Like, Hikaru's games just don't usually get that far. So, honestly, your best chance to beat him, whether you've got a playable position or not, is on the clock.
That's correct. Although this position looks really good for white. Oh, knight f3, such a nice move going for the pawn. But d3, thrown in by Danya, so he wasn't fooled.
No, he saw those triple pawns. He said, damn, those look kind of good.
Well, it doesn't look good is this bishop on a6. That's where the rook went right up to c6 after it. And queen a5 now, similarly going for this bishop.
Black needs h5. Like, if that move is in the position, then there's queen h3. And I think he wants takes queen h3.
There's queen c8 check.
Oh, yeah, that's such
but he throws in d2 first.
Now the queen
comes
can come
to
back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Hikaru's got those answers for everything. And he's seeing all this, by the way. This is not luck that things are working out. Hikaru is finding these moves.
That's 100% true. It's not an accident. He just knows where the tactics are. Rook c8 it would be made if the king went back until the king was to g6, but that's a king on g6.
Yeah, we saw that in Min's game, and it did not work out.
No. And all right, 2-1 lead for Hikaru. Let's see if he can hold off Danya with the black pieces, because Danya did have a great position with white 2 games ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so obviously the bishop pair here for Naroditsky, but in bullet, sometimes just getting that light square bishop out of the way and saying, I'm playing for the dark squares the rest of the game is just a really simple, effective strategy.
That's right. And the c4 square is vulnerable, and knight is about to land there. That doesn't look very fun.
No, count me out. This looks very, very good for Hikaru.
Bad bishop, very good knight. Pressure down the c file. The queen e3 is a nice move because you put pressure on e7 and keep that queen honest to the knight on b6.
Yep, and now you can. I think you can get c4 because there's no queen c3.
Rook d3, that's a great move. Oh my gosh, and he's trying to go for an attack as well. And he's getting it.
Yeah, he's getting some stuff here. Playing e6 as black is definitely admitting that white's got stuff going.
Yeah, the queen did come back in time to e7, covering the f6 square. No mate for white on the king side over here. With bishop f1 going in the wrong direction, losing this pawn c2. But Danya's ahead in the clock, and that's what he's going for.
d4 and f4.
Oh, that's actually just a problem. F4 right now. Boom.
What? F4?
I miss it. He's playing for time, I think.
Yeah, he knows the win condition.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, there was some stuff missed there. He's still got a great position, though. He's got this b pawn, which is very hard to handle.
Okay, but the b pawn can't go anywhere for the time being. G4, oh my gosh, it's almost a checkmate.
Oh, g5. Oh, the knight's covering.
Oh, g5 was mate. That's why the bishop went back to d3, and he steals a pawn. g6. Yeah. No, Danya's ahead on the clock.
This is going to be tough for Hikaru here.
And take a d5 and go back and just go anywhere. You try to win on the clock if you're Danya. Wow, what a match has already been thus far. G5, throw in the
bishop c4 wins.
Oh, Danya's wait.
It still wins because of g7.
I saw knight c4 and I thought it was black's turn, like to take the rook, and I was really just surprised by all that. But Danya, he's too speedy.
Yeah, at this point, I think the match is pretty clear that if it gets to a time scramble, like any time scramble, almost regardless of the position, if it's even, that's not Hikaru's skill set. Truly speaking, he beats you on the board, and he usually has a time advantage, which is why he's able to flag you. But in terms of just that raw speed, that's where Danya does have the edge, and he's playing really well right now.
Yeah, rook c4 is a really great move there. Knight d1 check. Oh boy, down goes e3.
Right, and the pawns.
Extra pawn for black, and yet it's still saying it's not too bad for what. Oh, that's not the move though. D4.
So the pawn just can't move. That's the thing. The B pawn is just stuck.
That's right. And black, on the other hand, can start pushing those pawns.
Knight
and
d6.
Goes for the b5 pawn. If you take this, rook b1.
C2.
Oh,
though.
what a find.
Yeah.
What a find by Danya.
Yep. That's just it. And it's 3-2. So off to a good start. But, you never want to get in that feeling like, oh, yeah, I'm up against Hikaru. Like, this is great. Because that's right when you start to get ahead of yourself. So if he keeps his emotions under control, hey, he's got the lead.
He does indeed. And it's a 3-2 lead for Danya. He has this is a theme. So Hikaru's going to allow this pawn up to h6 in most games here. And I wonder at what point he'll consider changing his opening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that all happened. Watch out for knight f5, of course. And g4 looks okay. That's actually a really nice.
There is knight takes h6 there, but it also lets white kind of keep the momentum.
And look at this great knight on e5. What's the material count? Extra pawn for black. Can you take on g5? That knight was hanging.
I think that's a good point. Taking there was really strong.
And now it's an extra pawn for Hikaru.
Playing it well, and he's going to put that knight on h6 and push the h-pawn type of thing.
And it has to be said, did Hikaru just get a haircut? It's looking pretty fresh.
He's looking a little more aerodynamic on the board today.
Yeah, he is. And he is up a pawn, and it's about to be a second pawn, and he's past h-pawn as well. So Danya, though, looking at the clock.
Yep. Knight h6.
Wonderful.
Knight f7, you can try.
That's actually really funny. Nah, Danya. No, I know he's won on the clock in a bunch of games, but
no way.
Yeah, he's down on time in this one. Knight d4. Yeah, this is
Hikaru needs no reminding how to win games like that.
Okay, so it's 3-3. We are level once more, and Hikaru going to the Vienna, but we know that Danya, he teaches people the Vienna. Like, that's one of his main openings for newer players.
Yeah, let me tell you, Hikaru did not sign up for a lesson today. So A3, interesting, because now we have a full imbalance. There's two central pawns. Blacks are completely stripped. However, connected pass pawns on the outside of the board, which is usually an advantage leading up to the endgame.
Although with so many pieces on the board, you used endgame, rook takes c6, the knight was protected by the queen. So now all of Black's pawns are being lost.
He had 3 pawns on the queen side. Let me retract that statement.
Yes, Mr. Hamilton, I like your use of the past tense. Thank you for being as precise as possible with your words. It's very important.
Exactly. As always.
Oh, gosh. And now it's 3 extra pawns for Hikaru.
And let's see if his 3 pawns disappear just as quickly. I don't believe they will.
I'm thinking about this now. I actually don't think Danya is playing on because he believes his chance of this game. I'm wondering if he thinks that if there are fewer games in the match overall, that is his best chance.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Usually, I would say the case is true with someone as strong as Hikaru. The smaller sample size is going to favor let's say the underdog, right? Because over a larger sample size, you would expect the better player to eventually win.
That's right. And right now, look at this it closes down the position, does Hikaru, but the knight gets to g4.
I like the knight there.
What's the second knight going to h2 for? To just reinforce the other?
Well, the bishop went to c8, and now the knights are getting activated in a funny way. But Hikaru's got the h-pawn. It's playing h5. This is a huge position for Nakamura. Like, he's just so much better.
And look at this. Danya going for the h-file. And maybe there's some kind of g4 move here. And he plays it because you can't take en passant, you lose your queen. You can't take with a pawn, you lose your rook.
Very fun move.
And g5 now is a threat. Oh, what do you do as black?
Unbelievable. He turned that around.
Okay, well, there goes the Petrosian king walk by Hikaru.
Take on h5, though. You either get the g4 square or bishop f1, h3, and there's a lot of light squares for your pieces.
Well, he plays g5 instead. And All right, the bishop does get to h3. So where's black's progress going to come from? Knight g4. He wants knight f6.
I do not agree with this g5 move. I think he's going to take too long to break through. And meanwhile, Hikaru is just, he's delivering checkmate on the other side of the board. Knight d3.
Knight d3, queen takes c3 though. Okay, look at the clock. Donnie's ahead on time.
That h-pawn, though, is going to tie up the rook, and that's so key.
Oh, and he pre-moved rook h2. He was expecting knight f2 or something like that, and that's why he pre-moved rook h2, which was a huge mistake by Donnie.
Yeah, Hikaru's, he should have this game now.
Knight h1.
Look at those pawns. You ever see the 4 pawns attack?
You see Donnie, by the way, not take the knight. He's like, I'm going to check this king.
Yeah.
Okay, but
6
Hikaru,
seconds.
yeah, down to 6. And the king ran to a7. That was smart. Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
This is actually pretty close.
Yeah, it might even be a win for white.
Oh my goodness. He runs his king. He wins. How did he do that?
Unbelievable. And you saw that little encouragement, the little oomph he gave himself after that win. That meant a lot.
Wow. That was unbelievable. He was down all the pieces on the board and pieces from the next board as well. And he wins on time. It is 4-4.
And Hikaru at the moment, I think he maybe messed up a move of like a theoretical line, because definitely Daniel's very happy to be in this position. He's got a blockade on e5. He's tied the match 4-4. I think this is the last game before the break at the halfway point, Robert. So this one is going to be like a big momentum shifter going into the break for whoever wins.
And Hikaru, we saw his insight. He's 85% accuracy, and we've seen that throughout this match. He's playing phenomenally well, but as Dunn keeps the game going, he's not getting checkmated. He's just playing with his few pieces remaining. He is just the faster of the two players, even though Hikaru is playing better chess.
And up a pawn is Hikaru, but time is evened. And remember, with opposite color bishops, there's always serious opportunity for someone to just get flagged.
That's correct. And Donnie's up a pawn. No, he's not. It's even. He was down a pawn. No. Oh, there was bishop e5 there. I saw the eval bar tank. So he had a way to win material, but you can't fault Danya. He's just playing quickly at this point. And
yeah, I think now we'll probably see a draw, but if someone tries to win this and there's a flag, it's definitely going to be Hikaru's flag that I'm guessing falls.
Although g4 at some point. Oh, there it is.
Right
Bishop
now.
F. So a5. I think you have to play on this side of the board to get this pawn.
Yes, you need 2 pawns. No, you needed 2 pawns there.
Hikaru wins.
Is Hikaru going to win this game just on the board?
He won.
He just wins on the board.
He won. That was a huge.
He's going to get aborted.
Did you see Hikaru? Look at him breathing. He's like, okay. Yeah. All right. Now I got that one. But I mean, that was a monster win for Hikaru.
Huge. I mean, opposite bishop positions like that, there's a hope for one side to maybe flag the other. And it's been Hikaru getting flagged in the matches so far, but hang on. Hikaru won that position over the board as Dania, he got too comfortable. It looked like he was like, oh, it's going to be a draw no matter what. But Hikaru actually found a winning resource, an idea with G4. That was unbelievable to spot that with just 10, 15 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, that actually was really, really nice and instructive. I'm actually going to pull the game up just to show that one more time, because that's what Dunne had to avoid. But as soon as he moved his bishop away, like if he just goes his king back and forth, there's no pawn push. But as soon as the bishop went out of the way, then G4 happened. And here it's already in a tough spot where he needed that second pawn, as we were talking about, because take en passant, here comes B5. And the bishop for white is overloaded. Can't take on B5 because of G2. So that was Dunne's only hope at that point, but you can't fault him. There was not much time remaining. But now it's a 1-point lead for Hikaru. We'll take a quick break. We'll return for this matchup in the winner's bracket of the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. It is our fourth and final match of the day. It is Hikaru Nakamura taking on Daniel Naroditsky in the winter semifinals, the Bullet Chess Championship. Aman, it is 5-4 Hikaru. It's as close as it can get. I mean, it just felt like Danya, he won that game on the clock, and then that last game, just when it was about to be a draw, he stumbled.
Yeah, and an important stumble for the match. Like that will definitely come back to haunt him, because going into the break on a draw there, I mean, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. He probably played that scenario in his head a few times and then didn't even understand the danger. Hikaru understood the possibility to still win that position, took advantage, and is now ahead in this match where every single game matters a lot. I think it might even be a 1-point match, Robert.
Yes, it certainly does. And we have this Hikaru line with bishop on h3. He plays this very often. He used it against Brandon Jacobson as well. And h takes g3 here. That caught Danya by surprise. The knight on e5 has been hanging, but this queen is coming in the attack. Well, what
Hikaru
is this?
is so good at these just tricky lines. Like, I've seen him do this a million times, and it just always somehow works.
Look how much time he's up by.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he's seen these attacking themes in so many games, and he's also done it against really strong players as well.
Oh, but look at this. All of a sudden, e5 is pushed. Bishop f4, full to knight b5 on the other side of the board. Why not?
Are we going to see the counterattack? Because if he doesn't strike pretty soon, Hikaru's just going to take, go knight g4, and renew those threats.
Okay, queen d5, but that just forces a trade here. Take on c7. You have to take that pawn, right? And then e6 check.
Feels like it.
Who's
What
better
else
and
is
why?
going on? I mean, what the heck is going on? Like, pawn to e6 next?
Oh, wow. Queen c3 played so quickly there.
And knight d6 wasn't possible. He's threatening f7 and b7 here, and rook d1 coming in. No, there's no way this survives.
And there's no attack for black. You have a rook
there's
here.
nothing. Rook
Okay,
d1?
Oh, rook d1 was nasty. Oh my goodness, that was sick.
Rook d1 could have been filthy.
That was so nice. Oh, Danya is down on the clock, and Hikaru with the tricks gets this rook here. Oh, knight f7. Knight f7 was a fork of the rooks.
However, very solid here. The rooks have pressure against the knight, but Danya can basically pre-move this position.
Hikaru's being tricky though. Good move, knight f. Oh, hanging pieces.
Great stuff. Yeah.
Rook g2 was a great move though by Danya. Hikaru with a really smart rook f4 and not rook takes f3.
Oh, Hikaru has just been styling with these past pre-moves.
That was
really
unbelievable.
Wow. That was an amazing finish to that game. Hikaru just took every single piece in under a second and delivered mate in under a second.
That was ridiculous. And that's when Hikaru is in his best form. I mean, the guy is just second to none in those kind of scrambles like that.
Yeah. No, he was feeling it there. And Naroditsky, it's now 2 points. I mean, I know we stressed like, oh, you shouldn't really let it get away from you up to a 3-point lead. I can't stress that enough against a guy like Hikaru, because the leads can just balloon to basically unreachable territory before you know it.
And look, his plan is so easy in this game. He's going after this b7 pawn. Black structure is worse. Rook b8 passive defense. c6 at some point is going to be annoying. Even knight c6 in some lines. Watch out for knight c3 right now as a fork.
Yeah, there's even queen b6. It doesn't even fully work.
Okay, b5. Okay, there's b6, but could he have taken him? Oh, there's queen c1 check. Never mind. I'm blundering. Don't listen to me.
Hang on. So what the heck is happening here? Because c6 rook there, but that pawn is a little bit shaky.
Oh, but he wins a piece. He just wins. Oh my gosh, you saw rook f7 so quickly.
It's just we're witnessing a masterclass. That game was start to finish, complete crush for Hikaru. And this is what happens in matches against Hikaru. It's like literally you blink and you're down 5 games. And you're like, wait, what? Wasn't I ahead in this match at some point? Remember 3-2? Remember back then?
And remember when Danya had a D pawn? Because right now, Hikaru stole that pawn really quickly and then treated his bishop. And okay, king f8, king g7. This looks like black's king is kind of safe.
Queen d6 even.
Wow, I mean, it's just ridiculous right now.
Hikaru's just getting the pieces mobilized.
Hikaru's just found his rhythm.
Absolutely. Even pawn to d3 now. It's starting to look, dangerously close to cruise control.
Yeah, I mean, Danya, he's just trying to throw his piece at Hikaru, but Hikaru found these protected pass pawns, queen to d4, queen can even, oh my gosh, A4 is hanging now.
Hikaru's in total control now.
Yeah. And he's doing well on the clock. That was the thing that kept Danya in it, was he was ahead on the clock, and now Hikaru's keeping pace.
Yeah, the bishop's pinned, but there's just no threats to be made. Like, you need F4. You need so many things to happen.
Oh, goodness. Here comes the
The
promotion.
last couple of games we've seen, Robert, have been basically 0% chance for Danya. Like, it's just been so accurate from Hikaru.
That's the problem, is going to the match, Danya knew he was going to rely on his speed, and Hikaru, as we said in the insights, 85% accuracy in bullet games. That's just absurd. But
absurd.
Now Hikaru is both fast and super strong. So I don't know.
I definitely thought you were going to say furious there.
Yeah, no, I could have gone that way. I actually missed the pop culture reference. My bad.
8-4. Double the score and under 10 minutes to play. It's really that moment where I think the match has to turn around. Whether or not it's a win here, something has to be shown. The last couple of games, way too clean from Hikaru's side. So if you're, in Daniel Naroditsky's camp, you need to see a better chance on the board, because Hikaru's playing way too clean right now. He's in a rhythm.
He is indeed. And I mean, even this position, he goes, D5, but he just drops the E5 pawn. And now knight takes F3 check. You have to take with the G pawn.
Yeah, but then there might be rook takes D7 at the end of that line. So
Danya instead goes this way, and knight takes C4 possible.
Is there knight F3 check there, maybe?
Oh, that looked really actually like a lot of fun.
I don't know. Yeah, just a wild move, but don't know the validity of it. And instead, Danya picks a position which is definitely better for him.
Yeah, he could have taken a second pawn here. He chooses not to. Oh, wait, now
it's rook B6. Yeah, no, this is Hikaru has done well.
Okay, so even material, but black has his pass pawn. Watch out for 95.
Yeah, these positions are always better for white.
Oh gosh, rook C7.
Rook C7. You just sit behind that pawn, and it's so tough.
Now it's essentially 3 extra pawns for white. Well, now 2, and then there was 1 for black, but there it's gone. And Hikaru's up so much time.
You can't play rook G5 there, important to remember.
That actually was a really instructive idea. Don't play G4.
Ooh, that would be a real big joke.
No, Hikaru's up time. He doesn't need to pre-move anything. Nice rook D8 only attempt, and it's another win for Hikaru.
Yep, this is dire territory. It's basically, I think, win or go home right here. And of course, when I say go home, I mean go to the loser's bracket.
Right.
Because like I said at the beginning of this match, we might get to witness the exact match that you're watching right now again in the grand final.
And I mean, Danya, he came out with full force, and since that loss in that opposite color bishop ending, it's been all Hikaru. Actually, Hikaru's won 5 games in a row. It's 4-4.
Yeah, he has. Like, this is what happens. He's so capable of doing that, even against the strongest players.
And maybe Danya winning that game on time when he was down like a queen, a rook, and 7 pawns or whatever it was, maybe he made Hikaru angry, and nobody.
You don't want to poke the bear, right?
No, you don't. And Hikaru's up. He's up 10 seconds.
There's rook C3 there.
Oh gosh, both rooks are hanging.
Yeah, actually, the bishop's hanging as well. Literally every piece is hanging.
Ouch. E6 didn't even work. The queen would have taken. Yeah, this is just all Hikaru. And it's not like Danya's playing bad. That nice little trick. If you take it's back range checkmate. And queen F6 is a threat. Oh, he hung his rook. Oh my gosh.
Completely bungled this one. Bishop B4.
Bishop B4 looks really good. Oh, rook D6, he just wins it. Queen takes C6 and rook D8 mate.
Wow. Totally sick move by Danya there.
And Danya doesn't have time, so Hikaru could try to flag him somehow, but I think he's just probably getting mated.
It's just not like, that's not Hikaru's strong suit.
E6.
E6 is unreal from Danya.
Oh my god. And the E-pawn goes up. Mate in 2, queen E8, or rook E8.
That is a serious statement from Naroditsky that, I mean, what can be said though? Hikaru let that one go for no reason. He was up a full rook. He's not going to be happy with that. There's a chance for Naroditsky now. A chance.
So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah,
I'm saying there's a chance.
Okay, well, Danya put his knight on g5. He's going to aggressive position, and well, these types of positions have to be good for black.
No question. Put the bishop back on h7.
He decides to.
Okay. I don't like the decision, honestly. I would have rather keep the light squared bishop, which would completely menace White's castled king here.
And he wanted the knight against the bishop, which is why Hikaru decided to take on f6. And temporarily, at least, black is a pawn ahead. But look how quickly Hikaru realizes that he may be a pawn down, but the activity is more important.
Yeah, and rook f4 or rook check, I guess.
And b6 was available.
e6 was a nasty move. Yeah.
Okay.
White's always going to be doing pretty decent here.
Rook c4? That's a draw. The draw.
Yeah. Ooh, I think
he's gonna try to flag him.
But you had to take with the rook there instead of taking with the pawn on d5. And Hikaru's got 20 seconds to take off the clock here.
So Danya, he was trying not to flag him, right? He just said, "All right, I make a draw." But Hikaru is smart to let the time go.
Oh, definitely. You know what he should do? He should play king e5. No, I'm kidding, of course. But what you could do in the previous position is if you had traded the rooks and then a pawn ended up on d5, you could not take the pawn. Right. That would actually be a strategy.
Right. It's actually funny. You said play king e5, and I looked at the board. I was like, wait, am I remembering the right position? you fooled me. You fooled me. Well, this looks highly suspicious from Hikaru's point of view. I mean,
especially considering, the type of position that he probably needs. Like, obviously, solid is better when you've got the lead that he's got 4 games.
And f5 is going to be a nuisance. Whoa.
I think Danya's just going for it. As Hikaru would say, Danya style chess.
Yeah. So knight takes f7 now?
Yes. And is there any... No, there was no queen takes queen or anything.
Oh, it's queen's trapped?
Oh, my God. The queen's just trapped.
Oh my goodness. Hikaru realized that so quickly.
That's amazing.
That was...
And you saw that eval bar just go... See you later.
Yeah, that was really just something. And if there's knight e2 check, if you get it, that's the only try. If rook h1 checkmate.
I like the try, though. Yeah. You got some ideas.
Unfortunately, the ideas aren't going to do much for Danya. It's all Hikaru Nakamura, and he's seeing everything right now.
He is. Yeah, he's not missing a beat.
And Danya's also down on the clock, going to get checkmated because down knight d4 check, queen takes e5.
Impressive.
And I think Danya's just playing out of frustration. Plus, you resign. Whether you resign or not, it's going to be the same result. And the match is already over.
Yeah, and Hikaru is going to win this match, which means he'll stay undefeated in the competition, and Naroditsky will go down to the losers bracket and look to make a reappearance for a potential rematch against Hikaru.
It would pretty much be surprising if there was not a rematch, because I don't know who's going to defeat Danya if not for Hikaru. He's just that good, and that's how strong Hikaru is, right? Even though Danya is a monster, Hikaru is having his way with him in this match right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think this kind of position here is just not gonna go his way either.
No.
Pretty much forcing a queen exchange. That's too much.
And it's an extra exchange for Hikaru. He can just take on d3, move his king to d2, and then put a rook. Yeah. Okay, give the b3 pawn.
Right. Yeah, it's still a chance here.
Rook f. What a good move, though.
Yeah, that's should be enough. Put the pawns on dark squares.
Put that rook on g5 right now, or don't.
Rook g4 and takes and check from rook a7.
But he just gets his king around in time, and
very nice.
The guy is just seeing everything.
Yes, Dan, you would say, of course he sees it.
He does say that a lot. That's true.
Yeah. Of course he finds it. Of course he sees it. He sees everything. He's literally a god.
Rook e7. Wait, isn't the A2 pawn hanging?
It's been doing a bit of hanging.
Yeah.
It's hanging out.
You see that Donnie resigned as soon as he promoted? He's like, I just want to make sure that you know I can get that.
Yeah. Just put the queen on the board, then resign. It's like, I resigned up a queen.
Yeah. You look at the piece count +5 for black.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is going to be the last game. 20 seconds remaining in the match. Maybe Danya can get one final victory here, but it's been all Hikaru since it was 4-4.
Yeah, truly. Like, it's amazing how much that one win right before the break may have meant for the entire match. Seriously, looking back on that, it's such a turning point in my head.
And, Hikaru, he doesn't really tilt. And not that he loses very much to even possibly tilt, but he did lose a bunch of games and he was losing on time. And yet he had the mental fortitude. He just gathered himself and he's just been winning game after game after game.
Yeah, I think it kind of helps when you're like, one of the very best in the world that you just don't need to tilt because that the likelihood of you just coming back and winning the next game is so high. That must be nice.
There was a fork of rooks. Oh my gosh, Hikaru's like better now.
Somehow.
Take on before.
Jeez.
Okay, rook b7.
I thought rook a7. Take control. Don't let that happen.
And then Hikaru is just going to go and win this endgame. Oh,
that's
or maybe not.
That's a pawn. Although weirdly enough, knight g4.
Oh my gosh, rook f1. He sees everything.
Even better because knight g4. There's king e2.
Yeah,
it's literally God.
Should we get all like Bruce Almighty? God, is that you?
Wow, what a finish. And he's going to take that match 12.5 to 5.5 in the end. Like, can you believe that that's the final score? After 4-4, he went on an insane run.
It's just, there are no words for moments like this, where you see somebody who's in the heat of a really intense battle, starting back and forth. And then he says, all right, you had your fun. It's my time now. And I mean, just absolute wonderful bullet chess from Hikaru.
Yeah, it has to be said that Daniel was executing a pretty solid game plan in the first half of this match, but Hikaru just took a little bit to get going. As we've talked about, he doesn't really tilt, just comes back the next game firing. And, if beating Hikaru in one game is hard enough, beating him twice in a row is, nearly seldom, right? He's so good at bouncing back.
And if we look at the scores from today's action, somehow this was the most lopsided match on paper, but the way it started, it looked like this might have been our closest match of the day.
Right. Yeah, no, this one, I think the people got what they were looking for in terms of fan favorites and entertainment all around. This was extremely exciting to look at, but also those other matches, 9-8, let's not forget Tang and Min Lei at that barn burner, and all the other matches as well were really, really close, even if the final scores don't reflect it. So today has been a very exciting day, Robert. Very close matches, and what can we say? Star-studded lineup.
For sure. And we're not done with today just yet. We are going to go on a quick break and return. We'll be ready for the DigitalOcean match of the day. And I think you know which match it will be, but maybe we'll surprise you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back for that. in what was a day with 4 epic matchups. Our DigitalOcean match of the day, we had no choice. Aman, it was the matchup between Hikaru Nakamura and Daniel Naroditsky. And I'm going to start us in game 2, because at this point, Hikaru had the lead. And then we have this position here, which is an absolute mess. Hikaru was up 5 seconds, but this actually gave Danya a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, early on, it was back and forth. Nothing was being played perfectly. And Danny was actually up an entire rook in this position. But that menacing A-pawn for Hikaru, you can see the evaluation bar provides more than enough compensation. So it was a battle of, can white actually checkmate Hikaru's king, or is that A-pawn going to be too strong? And you see how it plays out here.
Yeah, rook g1 played to stop that pawn. And this was a moment where Hikaru missed an opportunity to take that pawn, because what he did in the game where he put his bishop on a3, it allowed the queen to come to a8 check. But even here, we can see the evaluation bar. I'm sure the players probably felt that white should be in pretty good shape, but look at the time. And this is one of those moments where Hikaru didn't play quickly enough.
Yep, and you can see the usage of time if you play the next move. See how long it actually took to, after they shuffled a little bit. Rook e1 was played. Great idea. Hey, rook e8 and checkmate in 1. And Hikaru saw this basically hit him in the face, and he didn't have an answer. And understandable, this position is winning for white, but the time usage pretty much sealed the deal that he would not have enough time to make a comeback. As you see, the next move took way too long, put him down under 4 seconds. And Robert, you're just not going to be able to survive down a rook and down this much time against Daniel.
That's right, because even though the bar went back to zeros, he had no time remaining, and he in fact lost the game right here. He put his queen on d3 trying to pre-move, and Danya scoops it up. So that allowed Danya to tie the score. We jump forward. It was 4-4 in the match, and this was probably the critical game of the entire match. Aman, when we got to a position like this and Danya went b6, I mean, this looks like it should be a draw, of course.
Yeah, no question. There's a lot of ways to set this up, and neither player in this match needs a reminder that the objective evaluation is a draw. But this is bullet chess. The clock's a part of it. And also remember, this was right before the break. So I think that Danya just got a little complacent. He was like, oh, this is going to be a draw for sure, because he had a lot of ways to try to pull this off into a draw. You see the shuffling. Black has that blockade, and he really just needs to shuffle the pieces, keep the bishop on g3, and try to move his king back and forth. Instead, what happens was, Hikaru picks up this pawn, and it's like, okay, maybe that means nothing. And Robert, I mean, right when you think it's a dead draw, what does Hikaru come up with?
Yeah, you look at the time situation. Hikaru's up a few seconds. Danya was pre-moving because he knows it's still a draw, but he makes the move bishop f2, which allowed the great move g4. If you can't push your pawns, this one pawn takes care of these two. So the bishop sits on g3, no progress can be made. But after g4, you have to take en passant. And then after bishop f1, Aman, this is a situation where all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, this isn't such an easy draw, because after bishop g2, here comes the h-pawn.
Yeah, and I think the issue with this was that because it's bullet and these things they hit you so quickly, Hikaru plays g4 and bishop f1. You don't have a friendly eval bar saying, hey, don't worry, it's still a draw. The move a5 probably needs to be played by Naroditsky with the idea pawn takes en passant, pawn to b5. And how are you going to handle the g pawn and the b pawn with just one bishop? Your king is so far up the board. So, this is not going to be immediately obvious to you. And Daniel was in the mode of shuffling for the draw. And that's what he did. He kept shuffling more or less, but Hikaru had a winning game plan here. And he executed it perfectly, as we'll see over the next couple of moves. He brings his king back towards the pawn. He picks it up. And now there's no saving the position, because you've got that outside h-pawn, and you've also got the a-pawn after en passant was played.
And king takes c6. It looks like finally you're going to get b5 in, but after bishop g2 check is a precise move order, because the king can't go to b7, and if it can't go to b7, the game is over, because after king c7, here comes a7, and the bishop protects the queen square. So that was a very important win for Hikaru, and after this, he wasn't done winning. We went to halftime. It was a 1-point deficit for Danya, but things got worse. And in this game, I already jumped ahead way too far, but if we go back to this moment right here, Aman, where Danya's on the offensive and he went knight takes h7, and after this sequence here, it looks like white is about to crush through.
Yeah, and this was at a point where Naroditsky needed a win. It's like a must-win situation. Hikaru had a bit of a lead already. It looked like it might be sufficient, but a quick checkmate for white in a position like this, it's a bullet match. Anything can still happen. So after king h8, knight takes f7 check. I mean, how do you refuse that? And pretty surprising, but after rook takes f7, which is a great decision by Hikaru, he plays the move queen takes a7, knight f6, and offering a queen trade. Now, everyone's instinct here, if you're the one attacking, you're the one that needs to checkmate. Robert, I'm not trading queens with you. I'm going queen g6.
Yeah, I mean, queen takes c7 should be good for white. And unfortunately for black, every piece is defended. The knight defends the queen, the knight defends the other knight, this knight defends the rook. So everything is safe and sound. And you're right, Ahmad. Queen takes g6, that's autopilot. But look what Hikaru had found. Rook g8, and suddenly this queen that was doing the attacking is being attacked and has nowhere to go. The h5 square covered by the knight, e4 squared covered by that very same knight, and you can't go anywhere else as the rook takes care of the queen defends f7, and Hikaru was able to survive the attack, win the queen, and then win the game.
Yeah, pretty amazing. I think this was the last moment for Danya, the last flirtation with an attack or maybe a quick win, and it just didn't happen. Hikaru, he sees everything. Really strong defense there. He wins the queen, and that propelled him to winning the match overall, Robert, in this pretty exciting one between Hikaru Nakamura and Daniel Naroditsky.
It was an absolute great way to end the day, and this was our DigitalOcean match of the day. We had no choice but to choose the one between the top two players, and Hikaru Nakamura, he moves on into the winners finals. He takes on Andrew Tang, who himself had a really wonderful matchup against Min, but it's Hikaru and Andrew at the top, and both players can afford to lose that match because of the double elimination format.
That's right. And, for those that were really enjoying those last two matches of the day, don't worry. You'll see the people who lost those matches again in the losers bracket. They will have a chance to get back up and still play for the overall championship. So you can see the potentials for the next matchups there. Naroditsky against Jose Martinez and Min Lei against Bortnick. That will be an exciting day when we catch those matches, Robert. And obviously Nakamura and Tang, both undefeated, and still have to lose twice in this format before they're knocked out.
And Tang has had just the closest matches thus far. He beat Fabiano Caruana down to the wire. He beat Min today in the same exact fashion. So for Tang, it's been all close matches, and now he is rewarded with playing Hikaru Nakamura. But as we've been talking about, there's still the losers brackets, double elimination format. So Tang's in good position, but Naroditsky, Jacobson, Min, and Bortnick will all look to come roaring back and have a chance in this one. And a reminder to everybody that today is over with, but we'll have more action on Wednesday. Tomorrow is the double title Tuesday action, but Wednesday will return for the Bullet Chess Championship.
That's very exciting. I know I can say myself that I'll certainly be looking forward to that and back in the commentary booth for Wednesday's action. And I mean, the caliber that we saw today, every match was super close. Obviously, I mean, how can you not be excited for what Wednesday has in store?
I'm pumped. There's no other way to put it. It's going to be another great day here at the Bullet Chess Championship presented by DigitalOcean. Aman, I'll give you the floor for final thoughts, but before I do, I just want to thank you for joining me today. It was so much fun. We had 4 awesome matchups, and of course, I want to thank our producer, Matt, and our entire audience for tuning in and always making our jobs that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, the players today also, I think they made our jobs more enjoyable. Great matches, fun to commentate. I mean, riveting action start to finish in every single match. And a lot of the matches today were decided by just a single game here and there. So hope you guys enjoyed. Robert, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back, of course, on Wednesday for the next leg of the Bullet Chess Championship. But that's all for now. That's all I've got, Robert. It's been a lot of fun today, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Indeed. Well, we'll see everybody then. Enjoy the rest of your day and keep chessing. Bye-bye.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Todd.
Deborah says you're working on a fancy app or something?
Hold on. Not really working on it yet. I just don't know which cloud service to go with.
Well, I've got a cousin on my queen's side that swears by DigitalOcean. Says they're easy to use, have straightforward pricing, and really focus on making developers happy.
DigitalOcean, huh? I'm gonna check them out.
What the hell? Dude, how are you doing that? I'm not.